Hey, what's up, guys? You are watching or listening, if you're on Spotify, to Nerds Discuss. I'm DJ Costin,
I'm Redneck Alcatraz.
I'm apocalyptic.
and this month we are discussing all about. I was about to say May, but it's not May, it is April.
Yeah,
We've got
May
a
is still
few.
technically a few days away, so we're not there yet.
We've got a few
Almost.
interesting topics from the last month. We're not covering every single news story because we attempted to cover a lot last month, and we ended up running nearly 2 hours. We're going to try and keep it a little bit shorter this time if we can, because
Probably
a certain little apocalyptic has to stream.
Oh my god! How
Oh my
dare a
god!
streamer
Imagine having a stream.
God.
Imagine having a stream schedule. Like, geez.
Right?
Imagine.
I mean, I'm only
Imagine.
just getting into one myself. Like, I've started doing every Friday now.
I mean, I
So,
say that, but I actually do have a stream schedule.
Then you have a more of a stream schedule than both of us because you actually start at specific times, don't you? Mine's just sometime in Saturday.
Yeah, I actually do have a
no,
time
no,
and date.
mine is I will go for a 6 p.m. start unless I'm waiting for food, and then it'll be a 7 p.m. start, but it's always within that hour window.
Yeah, but the reason why I
Imagine
said it's got
waiting
more
for
than
your
us is
food.
because technically yours is you've only just started to get into that schedule, and one week did get fucked up due to technical issues, so it's technically not a set,
True.
consistent schedule yet.
True. But anyway, before we actually get on with this episode and start talking about stuff, how has your week's been? What have you? Well, the month really. What have you been up to since the last episode? Any interesting personal news that we might be interested in? Redneck, we'll start with APOC because we always start with you, Redneck. We'll start with APOC.
My arms are in pain.
Why are your arms in pain?
Because I'm a little bitch introvert that hasn't left the house since like probably February. But I went to I think what was it, Wednesday? I went to do my sister's garden, not a wink. And for some reason the lawnmower is broken for some reason. Like, you know, the little pull cord.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. I can't pull, like, you're supposed to be able to pull it, like, you know, back to here to be able to you know, go, "Rrr," but it will only pull to like here. So like, she's got quite a big garden. I don't know if you've ever been around.
Yeah, I've been around.
So yeah, and I had to do that entire thing with just a strimmer.
Oh god.
It took like
That's
5 to
work.
6 hours. Yeah. So like by the time I was done, my back was killing me. My arms were achy, and my back's fine now. That's recovered. My arms, like, still, like, you know, from not really doing any form of working out except, like, you know, type, do my job.
That's
I've
enough
not really done.
workout for a gamer,
Yeah,
right? Just type.
exactly. So it's like, apart from that, nope. There's been nothing else that's gone on because, again, I'm a little bitch introvert that doesn't ever
What
do
about
anything.
your little gaming addiction that you've started recently? I'm pretty sure the listeners on Spotify would like to hear about your gaming addiction.
Yeah, obviously, if you're listening on Spotify, you won't get the little extra content that I'm about to provide, but I'm going to show it right now. So yeah, there's a little mobile game that I started playing that you may know of called Merge Dragons. Wait, I'm just going to wait for the stream to catch up because I'm watching the stream rather than the live view to see. Well, there you go, it's focused. Yeah, there's a little cool. It's a little.
It might turn into it. Yeah.
It's a little game, you know, that you merge stuff, and it's all about dragons. So you have like little items. So this is the event they're currently doing. So you'll see there's like hearts. So you have to merge at least 3 of the same item. Then it goes into like a bigger item. Then you do 3 of those, get a bigger item, etc., etc. There's mushrooms. There's all sorts. And then when you get like you got like level 1 baby dragons. Then when you get 3 little baby dragons, then that will go to a level 2, etc., etc. And it sounds boring, it sounds stupid. Like, that's what I thought when I first got told about it by a certain Gabs, but she bet me that I'd get addicted to it. So, you know, being
I
somebody
love
who
that
doesn't
by a
turn down a
certain
challenge
Gabs.
by a certain Gabs, but being, you know, competitive and never back down a challenge, I downloaded it to prove her wrong, and I got addicted pretty much straight away, and I'm still playing it now.
To be fair, it does sound like a pretty alright chill game to play. Like, it's one of those that I would definitely download just to play and just like chill in bed. Because like we were talking in the pre-show about Redneck's latest question that he asks on his secondary Twitter. Which, by the way, we'll put a link in the video description on YouTube so that you guys can get to vote. What's the end date on that, by the way?
That one.
There's 5 days left on it, so we'll put a little thing down below in there.
It's got 5 days left. I always set them to run for a max of 7 days, and I do at least one a week. Sometimes I do 2 a week.
So yeah, do you want to plug the handle for that? Because honestly, I feel like that's something that a lot of people should get involved in, because it's always good to see the answers.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of this. The Twitter tag is @LetMeAskTheNet. And all it is I put up questions every week just to see what answers I get. Sometimes, like I said, I put 2. And it can range from anything just super simple, like a previous one I did was about pineapple on pizza, and is a hot dog a sandwich? To little bit more serious questions, but none of it has like a political or religious bent or styling. It's just a generic question of, what do you think on this?
Yeah,
and you can answer this.
I'll show you
you can
on
just do
stream. I'll show you
a
on the
poll
stream and on the
answer.
video. This is the current one that's running. What do you prefer to play games on? Console, computer, PC, or phone handheld? As you can see by the little check mark, I voted phone handheld just because I prefer to. It's a very difficult and subjective answer for me, but I had to say, in terms of relaxation and just being able to lay back in bed, I prefer to play on the phone or the handheld. Off of that, but in terms of like actual proper games, then it would have to be computer PC. But I picked handheld because I do love the relaxation aspect of gaming.
I mean, but that is also a thing. If you find that just the poll answer is a little hard, you can always just post a comment saying, I prefer this, but I also like to do this. I mean, you don't have to do just a poll answer. You can comment. I leave the comments open so people can say stuff.
So we've
That's
heard
a very
from
dangerous thing to do.
So we've heard from APOC
on the internet.
So we've heard from APOC what he's been up to in the last month. Redneck, what have you been up to in the last month?
Aside
from working.
Working, yeah, 40 hours of work a week, so plus streaming minimum usually of 4 days a week. Started the new Twitter thing. Not much other than that, other than some research into side projects I could potentially do, and then realizing I have a whole bunch of side projects already, but why not add another one? And then remember, I tend to forget about them after I start them. So yeah, I've got a few side projects I've started, and then they're just sitting there like 2 years later, unfinished.
Nice.
One of them I think is about 4 years old, and I haven't finished it yet. So I have a bad habit of starting a side project and then not finishing it. So
I'm the exact same. Don't worry about it. There's no end of projects that I've started, I've put on the shelf, and I've just been like, nah, fuck it, I can't be asked to go back to it.
Yeah, that's about how it goes. Yeah.
It's the great fun of having ADHD.
Well, I was diagnosed as a kid with a minor ADD issue, and then it was just ignored.
Damn.
And I think due to some health issues that have cropped up in the last 5 years, that may have gotten a little worse.
Oh, damn.
I don't know. Possibly, probably. We'll see. I don't know.
Thanks. And me, well, as you can tell by the fact that Guest Star seems to be having issues with my fucking video feed on the stream for some reason. Hello.
Guest Star.
I bet I don't even look like this on your sides, does it? Do I? Or do I?
What is this?
If
you look at the stream, you can see how pixelated and blurry I look.
Yeah, it's a little blurred compared to the other. But
yeah.
It works.
I guess. I mean, it's occasionally going a little weird in Guest Star, but not as bad as on the stream.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on stream, but yeah, I've been working. Look, I just moved my hands and it just went all pixelated. Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
The stupid thing is, it's not like I'm having internet problems because I'm streaming and you guys are on it and it's fine.
No, it just hates you.
Yeah, I think it does. But I've been working on the GG bots. I've been working a lot adding Twitter integration into the Twitch and the Discord bot, which is interesting. Non-stop hard work on that, which has been fun.
Yeah. Also, once you get that bot a little bit more going, I want to put it on my server as well because I want to add some of the Twitter ins. That way, I don't have to be running like 4 bots to accomplish one thing. I can actually just get the Costin bot and use
Yeah,
it.
you proper gave us like a cock tease last time. You're like, "Hey, hi guys, how would you be cool if we added this fun thing?" And then there's nothing about it since. I'm like, well, give me my Twitter.
Yeah,
give me my Twitter integration.
I was asking you guys what you thought about it.
I wanted it the next day.
Wow! Wow! You really don't. You really think developers can just push a product out within a few days? Jeez.
And plenty of game
when you
companies
have
do it.
a
Why can't
big-
you?
Hold on.
person
I've got
team,
a dev team working on it. Wolfie,
Yeah.
Tactless, get on the fucking thing. Release it tomorrow.
Come on, guys. Stop being slackers.
What? Release the Twitter thing tomorrow. Do it. I need you to work on it all night. Do it. But what we are going to discuss now, we've got some good topics that we're going to discuss. First off, we're going to hit up Disney with the largest wave of layoffs yet. Redneck's going to be covering that for us. Then we've got some some really good tech news in the form of some graphic card prices being lowered. And Chat GPT being added in places that it shouldn't. It's just reminding me of r/beans in places they shouldn't be. It really is.
Like beans on toast? No.
Hey, beans on toast is nice, but the whole Reddit of beans in places where they shouldn't
Don't knock
be.
it till you tried it, Redneck.
I have.
Then you should love it.
Yeah, you should love it.
No.
You should. Yeah.
You should.
No.
If you want it tomorrow, do it yourself. But I'm only one guy. I need my whole team working on it with me.
Team effort. All of you have to be involved.
Then in other gaming / tech news, we're going to discuss about the ROG Ally because that is fucking interesting, and it's probably the most important bit of tech news from this last month, in my opinion. And then we've got then we're going to go over and quickly discuss the biggest video game releases of April 2023. And then finishing and closing the episode talking about what we can expect to see in the gaming industry next month.
Hopefully we'll have time for that one.
But someone's getting a Discord call.
Not I.
Is Gab's calling you?
Is that coming through?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Oh.
Gabs, stop it.
There you go. You can't hear it.
Who is it? Who is it that's calling you? I'm intrigued.
Oh, Gabs just wanted to start up a call because it messed up. She said she swiped out of Discord accidentally, so she was just calling you just so the call was ready there for when we finish.
Gabs is trolling us.
I didn't know that would
I'm
come through on
excuses.
stream. I apologize.
I'm hearing excuses, Gabs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's start off Redneck with the Disney layoffs. What's been happening in Disneyland? Hey, did you see what I did there? It's National Park.
Actually, it does affect Disneyland. Annoyingly enough. So that comment's more on point than you think.
Damn it.
So Disney is going to be laying off. Estimates are about 7,000 employees. Which this is after they've already had some previous layoffs. They're doing another 7,000, which estimates are this is about 3% of its total global workforce getting axed. The concerning part is that this is going to impact ESPN, which actually, who cares? Their entertainment division, the Disney parks, and its experiences and product division. The part where that's concerning is that since it's targeting the parks, Disneyland, like you mentioned, or Disney World, or any of the other ones
my favorite
globally.
part is the fact that this article shows a picture of Amazon in the header, and it's hilarious.
Because Amazon is also one of many that's doing layoffs as well.
Yeah,
so Disney's just joining them again.
Yeah, this is not news to us. Like we've literally been over the course of the last few months, we've been seeing layoffs from Facebook, from funnily enough, Google hasn't announced any more layoffs since last year. But we've got Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Twitter, obviously throwing down a load of those
Yeah.
out there as
Well,
well.
I'm gonna be
Activision
honest.
Blizzard.
Almost all these companies should have seen this coming. When the lockdowns and all of that happened for COVID, they spiked in hiring people because everybody was going online for everything.
Yeah.
So most of these companies overhired massively, and now demand is dropping off, so they're having to drop those people.
It's
The
ridiculous. It
part
really
the,
is.
the part on the Disney one that gets concerning to me is they're laying off some of their park staff, which that's the in-person one, which now that lockdowns are over, people are going back there. That's not necessarily a division you want to be cutting people when going into summer. People are going to be on summer vacation. They're going to be going over there. So demand at the parks is probably going to go up, but they're cutting people. Also cutting from their
I'm pretty
experiences in
sure cutting
product.
people is illegal, by the way, Disney. Just saying. It can be constituted as GBH. Just saying.
I mean, if it's in their contract and they signed up for it,
We're
Gotta
going
read
to
the fine
cut you.
print.
It's not self-harm if you agree to it in the contract.
nor
Well, it's
is
not
it
self-harm if they're going to do it for you, because then that removes the self part of it.
true, but it's also not against company regulations if you agreed to it.
That's true if it's in the
It's
contract.
therapy.
I love that. It's therapy.
Just like electric shocks. It's shock therapy.
Yeah.
It's a thing. But yeah, but them, like, I really don't care if they're slashing ESPN. But the fact they're also cutting their entertainment division when
The
they're
thing
coming
is, we
out
should
with
have
new
seen
movies,
this.
so it's like,
The thing is, we should have seen this coming with Disney anyway, because it's not just the fact that they overhired a lot of jobs because of COVID and stuff like that, like many other companies did. It's the fact that Disney
that's
are
why
literally
most of them.
going around buying every single fucking company that they can get their hands on that isn't going to be blocked by the FCC or anyone else.
I mean, Disney has been overspending massively, whether
It's
it's
like
the company
ESPN, wasn't
acquisitions, like you mentioned.
ESPN was part of Fox, and then and then Disney bought Fox, and then ESPN was in on that deal. So
Yep.
now ESPN are losing jobs
Well,
because
and then Disney got
because
in a
Disney
lawsuit
bought
with
them.
one of the intellectual property owners that Fox had a contract with,
Hmm.
because the original contract Fox had ran out, and Disney tried to claim, no, it's not, because we're actually using this, therefore we keep access and use of the IP, and it's not defaulting back to its original owners. And the original owners went, no, notification was sent, you did nothing, you responded not at all, and then it went into a lawsuit. I don't know where that
Yeah,
lawsuit has ended, but there's another money sink. They're buying all these companies. Some of their movies that they've been putting out have not covered the bills as well as they had hoped it would. Like
They've been
they expected it to be a
trashed.
big blockbuster movie, and it didn't. It
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily all net loss, but they didn't make as much as they expected it would.
Star Wars. Sorry.
Yeah. This is the one thing. Me and my dad were actually talking about this the other day about the whole Star Wars IP and everything, and
Oh,
saying
they've run that into the ground. I'm
how
sorry.
George Lucas completely fucking hates what Disney has gone and done to his
Well,
beloved
Disney.
franchise he started.
To
Well, they
right.
also lied to his face. I mean, at the very beginning when they
Yeah,
bought
that
it
too.
from
But
him, he gave them all the info for the third trilogy. He'd been kind of working on it already and had like outlines and all of that done for it of what it would be. He was getting old. There was a lot of things going on and he just didn't want to do it anymore.
yeah,
And they told him, okay, yeah, we'll use this. And they took that and they threw it in the trash and said, we're going to do our own. And then they couldn't even keep a consistent storyline for that trilogy.
it's bloody
They were hopping
ridiculous.
directors and writers the whole time instead of having it pre-planned out and figured out. They were just ad-libbing the whole way through. The only good movie, Star Wars movie Disney has put out was Rogue One.
Yep, Rogue One.
Yeah.
It
And I
wasn't.
can
It's not
honestly
even
say,
considered good. It's just the best one.
actually, I would consider Rogue One was in many ways good. There are certain lore aspects of it I don't like, but for the most part, Rogue One was actually fairly accurate to the original Star Wars lore.
I mean, the main thing
Believe
I
it or
have.
not, it actually was, except for the whole fact of the Kyber
Like-
crystal thing, because that was a bullshit made up thing that they did for Knights of the Old Republic. They kept in the video game world that was never originally a story thing, and the testing of the Death Star on a city that didn't somehow kill the planet.
Yeah.
Well, the main gripe I have with Rogue One, and it may just be a stupid thing, but for me it seems like a pretty big thing, because like the ending of Rogue One kind of ruins the start of A New Hope, because you know the A New Hope, you know, it starts off with the Darth Vader chasing Leia, as they're trying to escape with the plans, and then as soon as they get there, as soon as Leia and Darth Vader meet, she's all like, "I'm on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. I have no plans." Where if you follow on from Rogue One to that, it's like, bitch, I literally just chased you from the planet where the Death Star plans were destroyed. Could you not come up with, were stolen? Could you not come up with a better story? Like, it just ruins it, really. It's like, that's just obvious.
I mean,
That's just
yeah, that
a
was
stupid lie.
that was a continuity thing they didn't do very well. I could see where they were going because, in theory, they could literally claim on her side, "Oh, we stopped off at here because it's part of the route we're taking. We saw all this, and then we then left."
Shush, Gabs. Shush.
Yes. Shut up. We are nerds. We are discussing. Don't
I mean,
be surprised.
they
hence
could
the
have done.
name of the hence the name of the podcast. Nerds discuss,
Yes.
because we are nerds
I mean, they
discussing.
could have done it better, because it's like
They
he
could have come up with some better
it
shit.
literally showed Vader seeing Leia's ship very clearly coming out of the original ship that he boarded, and did the whole dramatic turned my lights off, turned my breathing off, just so I could do my dramatic in the dark lightsaber reveal, which he didn't need to do just because Vader's a little dramatic bitch. But we'll ignore that part because
No,
it
that's
is awesome.
That's probably more of a Disney thing, honestly.
Yeah, but it's like he literally saw Leia's ship detach from the rebel ship and leave the planet, and then he chased her literally from that point. So it's like, that lie obviously isn't going to work.
Oh
She
yeah,
could
that
come
was
up,
just
she could come up with a better thing, but which
that
I'm
was
sure
bad
if
writing.
yeah, it's
I'm
like
just
it
gonna say that was
works.
bad writing. There are
Obviously, in the time of the New Hope, it worked, but then Rogue One comes and makes it not work.
yeah, it that was a bad trying to merge the movie lines together of like, okay, here's this, and it goes straight over to here. These connect.
Yeah.
Well, they connect more like this because our continuity doesn't match up.
Exactly. There you go, gals. Well done.
Yeah, that was just a poor writing, in my opinion. There were other ways they could have written that would have made it better, and that would have looked better story-wise, but they
That's-
didn't. We can hear you.
That's the main reason why I don't like Rogue One. Apart from that, good film. That's just the main reason. Like, it just kind of like ruins it for me, because it's like, it's a big part of the story.
Yeah, I mean it really does, as well as the fact that they admitted this, but they all actually, the ending we got was the second ending. The original ending was going to be they all somehow managed to escape, the main characters do, and make it out alive.
Then
was
you'd
like-
have to think how they would work that in then, because like none of the characters were in A New Hope, which is why
I know,
they
that's the
killed
thing.
them
That was-
all.
That was actually legitimately what they were going to do. They were going to do a happy ending, and it's like, no, you can't.
I'll be completely honest with you two. I haven't really got anything to weigh in here, because I'll be honest with you, and you can shoot me down if you want. Anybody who's listening or whatever, I don't care. I've never been a fan of the Star Wars franchise. I've never
but
ever
that's
had.
okay.
I've never
Blasphemy.
ever had a form of interest in it.
Well,
But
that's
that's
fair.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
This can
okay.
be the one
Not
rare
everybody's a fan of
occasions-
everything.
Yeah, it can be one of these rare occasions where me and Redneck can have a long conversation about it, and you can sit there in silence instead of it being me.
Yay! I gotta finally be quiet.
Shut up and go to your corner, DJ.
Yeah,
I'm already in the corner.
get
and
to
also,
my
you call me
corner.
Costa, not DJ. Fuck you.
It's just be
Like,
quiet.
I may have been
No,
late-ish getting into Star
that's
Wars.
when I know that you're upset with me, isn't it? When you just start yelling at me, DJ.
DJ.
It's just like,
Like, I may have been late-ish getting into Star Wars than a lot of like people who are actually like who like hardcore into, because I didn't watch my first Star Wars film until I was like 13, 14, that era-ish. But yeah, once I did, that's when I was hooked. Where like I knew a lot of people that got me to watch it, like you've been watching it from a young age. So they were like, oh no, oh my god, you need to watch it. You never watched Star Wars. And I was like, yeah, it's not like I didn't seem interested in it. I just never got around to watching it. And then we did. And I was just like, yes, where has this been?
Yeah, I mean, I
Space
started
been all my life.
Space Wizards, I need
pretty
this.
much when the special editions came out in the mid '90s. That's when I got into it. As a kid, I was like, ooh.
Fetus Epoch. Yay. Yes, Fetus
Yeah,
me
no,
got
I
into
started.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I started when those came out, and then I started reading the books. I played the games. I was very much always into it. I'm also one of the old school weirdos that liked Star Wars and Star Trek both.
Oh yeah, I
See,
like
my dad.
I like Star Wars and Star Trek. Like I watched Star Trek before I watched Star Wars.
My dad, the exact same. Like he absolutely loves Star Trek and he loves Star Wars as
I
well.
prefer
Yeah.
Star Wars if I had to pick. I like them both, but if I had to pick, for me it would be Star Wars is better.
And I
They're
know I
just
can
not
answer
the
for my dad, and he
same,
would pick
which is
Star
why
Trek.
it's easy for me to like both because they're not the same. They were
Yeah, they're not the same.
literally written very different ways. Like one of the things in the original Star Trek and Next Generation and all that is they wanted to move away from a lot of the combat or the action, the violence, and do more with it. And they did. Versus other movies were very action oriented and had that as a main thing of like a lot of the plots and all that. Star Trek didn't require action for it to tell its story, which was there and you can, there's a whole bit on that if you want to go more in depth on that later, but it was just done differently. And it was funny because I believe it was Roddenberry and Lucas were actually friends. Like the original writers of Star Trek and Star Wars were friends. And they liked each other's shows. So, and a lot of us don't really know where the rivalry between the Star Trek fans and the Star Wars fans really came about. It became such a essentially a meme.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. It's like there's no real reason to compare them because like one is kind of like it's realistic, just set in the future. Star Trek, it's just kind of like set. Obviously, you have to think realistic, but there's aliens. It's like, well, we don't know if aliens are
Star
out there.
Trek,
So
in
obviously, there's
my
some
eyes,
form of
Star
fantasy
Trek
out
is
there.
kind of like the Doctor Who of that sort of thing. It's more of a case of it's based off of like what you could expect in the future.
Yeah,
but
like
that's
if
what-
that
humanity
aspect of
actually did
fantasy adding
advance
to
to
it.
this point.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
then you got Star Wars. It's like, yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we've got magical space wizards. Like take away the whole Jedi, then sure, because you've got space, you've got aliens, you've got space travel. Sure, the rest of it is plausible, but space wizards, probably not. It's like people, but obviously there's people out there that are trying to invent an actual lightsaber. So it's like maybe we could get to a point where a lightsaber may be real, but
It's
the
I mean,
whole using the
technologically, they
Force,
have
no.
accomplished what was I think it was known as the proto saber. So there's technology that was shown in Star Wars and Star Trek we actually have now.
Yeah,
that's actually a thing. Data pads from Star Wars are the laptops and tablets of modern day. The comlink or
It's like the
the
smartwatch as
communicator,
well.
we have those. They're cell phones.
Yeah, and it's the same with smartwatches as well. They originated in sci-fi like Star Trek.
Yeah. So
actually,
there's a
no. I
lot
have
of
to.
that stuff
There's a correction there.
from
No,
reality.
the communicator is actually a lady's razor blade. If anybody doesn't know that, what I'm talking about in the Phantom Menace, I believe, yeah. In the Phantom Menace when
yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn, is talking, to Obi-Wan through a little communicator. It's just a painted and changed a little bit ahead of a lady's razor blade.
Yeah, well, if you looked at any of the weapons from the original Star Wars, they are World War One firearms that were then had other stuff attached to it and painted.
Yeah.
Like Han Solo's blaster is a C96 Mauser that was manufactured originally in 1896.
Yeah, I was trying to think if that was correct what I heard. Like, I remember, I was like, do I remember correct that I read something like his pistol is like a modified German pistol, something like
Yes,
that?
it is a C96 Mauser
Yeah.
that you add a big flash thing and a little scope on it and do some little detail work on it. And yeah, you have
And then
turned a
boom.
C96 into that.
Yeah.
Just
The
going
big
back to the whole Space
Star
Wizards
Wars
thing a
blaster
second
rifle
that
or
Jordan was
machine
saying. I remember seeing on Twitter someone turned around and went and said Harry Potter is just Star Wars with wands. They're not fucking wrong.
I mean, I guess where they're coming from, like it's not in space, but yeah, like space wizards are just not space wizards, and they don't have lightsabers, but they have wands. So I guess if you want to try and not be too technical,
Actually, I can see
then
the
I can see it.
similarities. You have the general civilization population, and you have the wizards who do their own special training, their own secret ways. Instead of waving the lightsaber, they wave the wand.
The unreleased finale for Harry Potter is Voldemort going, Harry, I am your father.
Well, I mean, but then if you go too much into like
Actually,
how
would
the
it be more grandfather?
story
But yeah.
is, because obviously Harry didn't end up going to the dark side, and then it was his son. Harry didn't become Voldemort or whatever. Voldemort wasn't good, and then Voldemort turned evil, and then his son was Harry that then turned him back into good. Like if you want to get into the technicalities, no, but yeah, I guess.
No,
the
if you want to
basics
go
of
into the
it-
technicalities and the
Yes.
backstory of it, then no, they're not similar at all. But if
Yeah.
you just sort of look at it from afar and look at like the two different concepts,
Yeah, I
it's
see where they're
almost as
coming
if
from.
J.K. Rowling kind of was just went, "Hey, Star Wars, pretty cool. Let me just write a wizard version.
Hey,
Yeah,
I got this
well-
Got a
cool
different
idea.
backstory.
How about Star Wars, but with wands?
Shit,
Oh, change
you're
the
right.
lightsabers to
Maybe we
wands.
should do that. We can call it Star Wizards.
Wizard
Star
Wars.
wands.
Yes.
Star wands. Replace every blaster with a wand.
But then couldn't you apply the same meme that's in Harry Potter to Star Wars then? The whole replace the word wand with penis and it still makes sense.
Yes.
Replace,
yes.
replace lightsaber with penis.
Hold on. I'm gonna find some. You keep talking about the Star Wars
Jeez.
stuff. I'm gonna go try and find some extracts that we could do that with.
Oh, God.
Darth Maul appears from the doorway. He pulls out his penis. Two
He
light
reveals his
energy
double-ended
beams.
dildo.
Two light beams extend out of his double-ended penis.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting read.
Or the person who reveals they have not one, but two, and proceed to dual wield.
Oh, Kylo Ren, he has a penis that has two bits coming out the
A
side.
penis that
Oof.
has branches on it.
Yeah.
If you gave Stormtroopers wands, they would still miss. That is
Well,
such a hilarious meme from the
duh.
games or from the movies. Because if you go to any other version of Star Wars, the Stormtroopers are not shit. You go to the games, they will nail you. They will shoot your ass.
I will
Yeah.
just
funny
say
'cause
this:
that meme only applies to the movies.
never Google Star Wars, but lightsaber is changed to penis, because I've got a load of fan fictions here of Darth Vader getting his penis out.
What did you
Please, no.
expect to
Cyborg
find?
penis.
And it's also giving me listings for penis lightsabers for sex toys. I'm like, why?
Because you Googled it. What's the
Googled
old
it.
saying? If it exists, there's porn of it on the internet.
Yes, if it's on the internet, there's porn of it or something like that.
This-
Yeah.
There's a fucking
Rule
Reddit I
34.
just found. If lightsabers were manifestations of the unit's penis sizes, how would the Star Wars movies change?
Oh,
Luke,
jeez.
your dong is much smaller than yesterday.
As Gabs pointed out, Daddy Vader has come out to play.
Ooh, woo.
I love this. The first comment on it was Sam Jackson's would still be purple.
They would have to change the wording a little bit. It's like, Luke, I am your daddy.
Yes. That's
Oh
actually
god,
not hard to
I'm just
change.
reading some of these from Reddit right now, and one just went a lot more black Jedi, and then someone responded to that with very arousing women Jedi. Yoda
Notice
would have
how
lost.
notice how I
Yoda
said
would.
the quote correctly and not how the internet perceives it. There's all those memes of being like, "No, Luke, I am your father," and that's not the quote. The
Correct.
internet is stupid. It is
It's
not
misquoted
no.
so much.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
it's the
misquoted.
Mandela
It's so
effect in
annoying.
full swing there.
Yeah, it's just Luke, I am your father, not no Luke, I am your father. I don't know why people decided to add no to it.
It's one of those. It's so misquoted. It's crazy.
It is.
Some of these other responses, Yoda would have lost to Count Dooku.
Choke
Dooku,
me
sorry.
like you hate me, which leads to the dark side.
Another one says Darth Maul was a two-penis guy.
Yeah,
Someone
double-ended
responded,
dildo.
"What about General Grievous?" And someone responded, "Helicopter dick."
Oh.
Helicopter, yes.
To which someone then responded with, "You/double dick, dude." There's a user on Reddit called Double Dick Dude. That's great.
That's crazy.
double dick, dude.
Another
Is that,
How would
person
that
is
work
that,
for
is
some
that,
of
is
the
that dude's
female
cousin?
Jedi, like, or the Sith, like Asajj Ventress?
Another one, King of Sidonia says, Darth Vader wouldn't have one. No way his dick survived the lava shore.
Well, that's why we said cyborg penis.
Cyborg penis. Which don't look that one up either. You'll get stuff from Teen Titans.
I love this. The most upvoted comment on it, Pip the Pirate. It would be less exciting. I have been told the biggest penis in the world is only 4.2 inches long, so they're basically fighting with knives. Oh. Reddit
The
is
knife
great
fights.
for comedy.
Gabs, choke me like you hate me, which leads you to the dark side.
Reddit is a wonderful and terrible place.
Yes, I
but
still
it's
say
still
the only
better
place
than
worse
4chan.
is 4chan. Yes, 4chan is still worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a reason I don't go there.
But
I've
yeah,
never
anyway,
been in a
continuing
my sanity.
continuing on with the layoffs, because as usual, we go off on a tangent and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's still hilarious though.
It is. Yes, Disney laying off 7,000 roughly
Yes,
employees.
they're doing
So
it
the
in their
article-
aim to save 5.5 billion in cost was the
So-
intent.
Just for context for people who are watching or listening, the article was published on April 24th, so that was Monday this week. And it says here that the cuts this week are expected to take place Monday through Thursday. So that apparently they should have already have happened, according to the
Yep.
article. Affecting employees from coast to coast, Disney said. The latest round of layoffs comes after an initial wave last month and will bring the total number of jobs lost across the company to 4,000. The layoffs, however, are not expected to affect hourly frontline employees at Disney theme parks and resorts.
No, it's just going to affect the back end.
And then they say a third and final wave of layoffs to reach the 7,000 total. So another further 3,000 jobs is expected to be lost before the beginning of summer.
Don't worry about it, Wolfie. Don't worry
Disney
about it.
had about 220,000 workers as of October 1st, which approximately 166,000 were employed in the United States. A cut of 7,000 jobs represents about 3% of its global workforce.
And doesn't
Yeah.
that just say, like, I know obviously this is on a much grander scale than what I'm about to use as an example, but doesn't this kind of like just show like what the sort of company is like, with maybe like bad planning and then also just like not caring for the employees? Because like the example, like
You got it on the first point though, and it's the
Yeah.
same with every single with every tech company, etc., like Amazon and Microsoft that have been laying off employees. It's bad planning.
Yeah,
because
because
they
like
didn't.
It really is.
They just went in and was like, "Hey, we've got the space. We can afford to pay these people right now." And boom, fucking inflation and everything all rises. The cost of living rises, and hey, shit,
didn't
now we
plan
can't afford
ahead.
to pay them.
but it also
was
goes into
extremely
like
short-sighted.
just
They didn't plan
but it
ahead.
also kind of like goes into not caring the employees because like the example I'm going to get into, like it's similar, not on the grand scale. So obviously, like it may not be 7,000 employees, but like the company I work for, not going to say like the name or anything, just
Obviously,
but the company I work for, we're coming up to like the end of last year to like into this year. They hired around, I think they said it was around 200 more employees just in my department alone, which is correspondence, so emails. And
I think you actually mentioned this in the February edition,
Yeah,
because I think
I
you said
did.
that they're on about laying people off as well.
No,
And
no,
I
they're not.
think I
No.
asked you if your
No,
job's
no,
safe,
no,
and
they're
you
not.
said you were.
Oh yeah, that with that, yeah, because that's what I was going to get into. It's like, yeah, because it's not, it's not 7,000 employees, but it's like we're going into January, February, like we were struggling, like, to get to actually do stuff, because like the emails, like we were just not having enough emails to keep the workflow concise for the 8-hour shift. So they were like, at the start of the shift, we would have email. But when it came to like maybe like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it would start to be like, oh, get an email, reply, do what you need to do. And then there'd be like a 2-3 minute gap before another one. And then it would come to a point where like sometimes I was sat there for like 10-20 minutes without an email. So, they said in the team meeting that we had recently, like, they hired too many employees because they were over prepared, because they expected with everything that's happening within, like, everything that's happening in the world right now, specifically the UK. If anyone lives in the UK, you'll know what the energy industry
Just
is
for
like right
reference, you
now.
work for an energy company. That's all.
Yes.
That's all we can say, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's what I just said with the energy industry. Yeah, I work for an energy company, but yeah. So, and they've expanded. My company that I work for, they've expanded. They're doing more stuff to try and get more customers to sign up. So they prepared in advance and hired a load more employees. So like that's why I said just like 200 employees in my department alone. I don't know how many more employees they hired in the other departments, but they also said in the meeting that don't worry, none of your jobs are at risk, because what they've done is they've gone, all the big boys, all the big heads of the company have gone away into a meeting and found ways to find us stuff to do. So there's 2 teams within my department that have been taken out of the emails, and they're now currently helping the complaints department, because they're always stumped, especially with how the energy industry is right now. You can imagine complaints have gone sky through the roof, even though it's not our fault the bills have gone up. That's the government and war and blah blah blah. But there's been 2 teams that's been taken out and put in to help with the complaints, and then 2 teams, which is the one that I'm a part of, we've been taken out of the emails as well and put into a team that's now currently helping all our customers that are not the direct debits basically on being taken out on time, because they many reasons, either they're refusing to pay, they can't pay, they're struggling to pay, or whatever reasons. There's people that have a overdue balance on their account basically because they haven't been paying their bills. So then we have a list of all of them, their details, their what, their how much they're overdue, blah blah blah. And basically our job now is to try and contact them and find out why, basically not to badger them and be like, hey, you need to pay us, or else be like, what's the issue, how can we help you? Is it that you're struggling? Is it that you need help? Is it that you need some clarification as to what's happening because you're just a little confused and you think you're angry and you think it's our fault, so you're just refusing to pay? And if we can help support you, that's what we're doing. So that
This is the thing that a lot of
found
people
ways.
don't understand as well, and this is more so with the UK. I don't know about America, but it's like I can't remember the actual name of it, but there's a scheme that a lot of energy companies are actually running, where if you're on low income or you're struggling to pay your bills, there are grants that the companies can basically delve into, because they've got like a fund, so that they can end up help either erase the debt that you've got or pay a lot of the debt off, so that you don't have to worry about it. But you need to ask for it. You can't just sit there and just not pay shit for it to get even bigger, to the point where the company then can't help you. It's about
I think I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember its name. I don't think we're taking part in it right now, because I think there's talk that somebody asked, like, are we doing this? I've had a couple of customers ask, or I've heard about it. I can't remember if they said that we're looking into it, or that we're not, but I know it's been mentioned, and it sounds similar to one you're saying, but I can't remember what it's called.
yeah, I can't remember the
To my
exact name
knowledge,
for
we
it
don't
either,
have
but
anything like that in the US. Like, there's stuff you can work with, like, the government on for, like, government support if you're low income and can't afford stuff, but through the company themselves, no.
Yeah, then there's
They'll
always
just
been
cut you off and say, too bad.
And there's always been, even before, like, the energy industry over here has turned to shit. There's always been as well places and charities and departments of different companies, not departments, different companies that can help as well. Like, we have the main one is called the Citizens Advice Bureau. They are a place that customers can call for advice with their energy and blah blah blah. And if they're struggling, or if they want to know, hey, my energy company's done this, I don't agree with it, can you tell me if either I'm right and what to do, or if I'm wrong and try and help me see why, because the company's has tried and I don't agree. And that's what they're there for as well. So there's always been places that that we
That's it.
have
I've
over
just had a
here.
look. It's called ECO, or the Energy Company Obligation.
Eco, that's
not all
it.
not all companies are actually a part of it, but it's eligible for those who are on certain means tested benefits in the UK.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say that's gotta be an EU thing because I'm not aware of any such thing here in the US.
But basically, the gist of it is they basically help give like a discount to your monthly bill, or if you've got debt accrued, then they'll take a chunk of that money off for it. But it's not with every single energy company. It's only specific ones that are part of the whole eco scheme.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing from what we've got.
Yeah. Yeah, but the original point I said, like, it's like I know it's like, again, it's not on the grand scheme of like 7,000 employees, but it's like it just seems like Disney is just like it just looks bad on them, because the one, they're bad at planning, and two, it just seems like they're not trying to help their employees. Like, they don't care, because they're just thinking, oh, we
They
just don't have the
probably
money for
don't.
those, let's just get rid of them. Those 7,000
The
people can do what they can, suffer and try and sort out themselves out.
I
just
mean,
to
I'll
go
be
back,
honest. This is something I've seen on the retail side of things, like the retail industry. Employees are nothing but a consumable resource, is how they're
Yeah.
seen. So, okay, we need to cut employees. That's fine. Don't care. People are still going to come to us to buy our product. So what?
I think one of the main things that hasn't really, well, I think you mentioned it really quick, APOC, but I know Redneck said earlier that, they weren't planning enough ahead of time. But the problem is the way that inflation has risen, the way that the cost of living's increased with energy bills and stuff like that, that wasn't foreseen to happen.
Of course.
Nobody ever expected this to happen. Like, we thought that we'd be on like that steady increase like we normally are, but then all of a sudden it just went up, and it was like out of the blue. But
But
it's like
when
now
I'm going to
things are
disagree
starting to
on that
settle a bit
somewhat.
down here in the UK. I don't know about in America, but it's starting to settle down a bit more here in the
Mhm.
UK.
It's still
But
going up.
it's still going to be a few years off before we're back to what we should be at.
Yeah, but when I
See,
said
I'm
the whole
gonna.
like they're bad at planning, I meant more like they're bad at planning on what to do with the people, rather than, oh, they just planned ahead badly and hired these employees when they shouldn't have. It's more like, because like I said, my company did the same thing, but they went away and planned what to do with the employees to keep them, so they wouldn't have to lose their jobs and they could use them effectively, instead of just being like, okay, we hired these 7,000 employees, we don't need them now because we fucked up, let's just get rid of them. Like, I'm not, obviously not
Our
saying my
sort of
company's
plan, like a
perfect,
short-term plan,
but they
is
worked
sort of
better.
what a lot of companies aren't looking at. But the long-term plan that a lot of companies would have had in place, and the reason why all of these hires ended up going so badly, the long-term plan is what was unforeseen. It's the short-term plan at how are we dealing with the situation now. A lot of the companies aren't going, okay, where can we save money elsewhere? Or where can we find this money from somewhere else in the company to do this? They're just going, nah, fuck you, let's get rid.
But it's
See, I'm
like
gonna
Disney.
disagree.
It's a massive company, so it's like, yes, it's 7,000 employees, but it's like, think of like how many departments they have, how many different like things they do, whether it be like making movies, making TV shows, amusement parks, this, that, stores, blah blah blah. It's like, if they really wanted to and they weren't just thinking about the money, I'm sure they could find places to put at least some to most of those 7,000 instead of just laying them off.
Yeah, and here's why I'm gonna disagree with the long-term versus short-term planning. When everything goes into lockdown and people don't have availability to go out and do things, you hire because everybody is going on to online, so your online demand goes up. However, it's obvious that your online only demand will not stay that high, because once the shutdown ends, people go back outside, they're going to be back out. Your
But
online demand is
this
going to
is what I
fall back
mean by the
down.
whole long-term plan. Because the thing is,
They didn't.
a lot of these companies, they were looking at a long-term plan of when they were hiring these people. They weren't expecting COVID to be a short-lived thing. I mean, I'm not being funny. We've come out of the back end of it now, and we've been straight through it within the space of 2 years. A lot of people, a lot of companies were expecting COVID to last a lot longer. They
And see,
weren't
that's where I'm going
expecting
to
it to be
disagree.
hit and be gone this quick.
I mean, that's also a
Long-term
thing.
planning.
COVID isn't gone. We just don't care anymore.
No, we figured out how to deal with it, which is what we've done with every instance of a major medical catastrophe, emergency, whatever you want to call it. The issue has never lasted more than a few years. The Spanish flu was come and gone, done with in a few years. There's never been an instance where a medical emergency lasted more than 2-3 years, because the world figures out how to deal with it. They figure out how to move past it, and they do. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. They
but
didn't do
this is
long-term
this
planning.
is the
They
thing
did
though.
short-term.
This is the thing
Short-term
though.
is only a few years.
Even
Long-term is
the
10
thing
to
with
20.
COVID though was it was a lot shorter than those. You're saying 2-3 years. A lot of these companies were probably looking at that 2-3 year thing and going, okay, this is probably the length of time that we'll need these guys for. That means that we can put them into employment contracts for this amount of time. But
And that's what I'm
because
saying. That's a
COVID,
short-term plan.
but with COVID, this is one of the things. I don't know about in America because obviously I don't live there, but in here in the UK specifically, our lockdown procedures literally lasted less than a year.
Oh no,
Like
we had places
we
that
had
locked down
like
and were
less than
back
a year.
open in less than 3 months. There were places that were back open, and there are places that didn't open up until mid 2022. So it varied because the government, the feds, did not institute a lockdown. It was done by the states. It was left up to them to figure out how long they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And in those cases, there are some places that did such a hard shutdown that it literally destroyed businesses. Others tried to work with and
Starbucks.
figure out things how to do things. But in all those instances, national or even global companies hired in mass. And this is what I'm saying. Short term, you're looking at anywhere from 3 months to 3 years. Long term, you're looking at decade or more. That's what I'm saying. Long term planning would have been factoring, okay, long term, we know this is not going to last forever. Therefore, what do we need to carry us through this and put us at a good place outside of that? Short term is, oh, everybody's switching to internet only. Focus everything on the internet only. We don't care about the rest. And then that falls off. They're like, oh, people are leaving the internet stuff. Now what do we do? Most companies here only did that short-term look, which is why we're now getting the massive layoffs, because they overhired to deal with the internet-only issue while ignoring the rest. Now the internet stuff is dropping off. Like subscriptions to internet, just like not service providers, streaming services.
Yeah, just services in
They
general.
expected those streaming services numbers to keep climbing. They're not.
They're
like, what do we
if we
do?
touch on the subscription thing with them, a lot of the reason why a lot of people are actually, those numbers are dropping off is because they either can't afford them because other stuff has to take precedence, or Netflix. They're enforcing additional fees in order to be able to use their service.
Yeah.
If you've got like a friend or a family member who used to live in your house but has moved away for university or something like that, doing stuff like that,
also,
completely changing the policy and the way that you're dealing with stuff, and then starting to charge additional fees. This is one of the reasons why I know Ring is going to be in a lot of trouble over the coming years, because their products are moving from going from effectively a free to use platform to slowly adding more and more features that are being paid for, and they're just going to start losing it. And this is, again, this will attribute to losing jobs as well, because they're starting to do bad business decisions for the consumer, which is going to affect not bringing in enough money, which means losing
companies
people.
are doing that though. They're doing it because it's the only way for them to make money to keep the business going. Because if they maintain on the same platform they were at 4 years ago, back in 2018 or 2019 even, they cannot stay profitable and they will shut down. I'm seeing this with a couple other companies. In fact, a friend of mine is at a small company that they have enough money to cover themselves through the end of this year and maybe next year. After that, unless they can figure out how to do a massive boost in revenue, that company with over 500 employees will have to shut down because there will not be a way to finance it.
The thing is, a company like that, that's fair enough. I understand why they'll put their prices up. But when you've got a multinational corporation like Netflix as a prime example, there's no excuse for it. They're turning around and trying to say, well,
services on their end has gone up because inflation. They have to pay their staff more. Payment for their equipment and services has gone up.
I'm not bothered about paying a little bit more. Netflix have increased their price every single year to try and match with inflation. That is completely fair. I don't mind paying more for a service if it's going to cost more for them to run it. That's fine. What I don't like the fact of is they're trying to use the excuse of a lot of like the password sharing thing and adding an additional price on that if other people want to use your account, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to put that in as the fact that they generate a lot of content and they can't afford to do it. Well, if you can't afford to do the content, stop putting everyone's prices up and try and match the content that people are paying for right now. Or find the income from a different revenue stream. Otherwise, you're just going to push people further and further away. Look at Disney Plus. They've kept their price the same since day one, Disney Plus have, but they've brought their income from different stuff. It's going up soon, I know that. But before now, it hasn't gone up. It hasn't been touched. But they've been making original content. The reason why they've been able to do it is because they've got the income from sources like Fox, from ESPN, etc. They've got a different revenue source. Netflix has been buying companies left, right, and center as well to try and get in there. So why can't Netflix do the exact same thing? It's the same with Paramount. It's, the same with a lot of different online streaming services. They're creating original content. We're paying pretty much the same price that we do every single year, adjusting for inflation, might I add. And yet we're getting the exact same amount of originals. Netflix's problem is they're trying to produce more originals than is necessary.
They're also, if you look at the cost of what it's costing them to make that content, that cost has jumped a lot.
And again, you still got to compare that to companies like Disney and Paramount, etc., that are producing the same level of content, if not higher
as well.
If not higher, because you've got to. Where's my phone? It's there. If not, fuck off. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to have a very, very serious discussion here. Fuck you. Right, no.
Fuck you.
But when you look at companies like Disney, etc., right? Disney's level of content, they will pay millions to get a show out. In some cases, they'll spend multiples of millions of dollars because they'll do things like
of millions.
Like, we'll look at things like Star Wars with like the Clone Wars, etc., or any of their other animated stuff. They don't cost. They cost like at least double of what a live action movie or a TV show costs to make, because you've got additional resources that you've got to pay for that. But Disney haven't increased their prices because of that. They've increased their prices because of inflation. Whereas Netflix, they've introduced the whole additional price factor for additional users because they're trying to put more original content out that a lot of people aren't watching. People aren't watching Netflix originals anymore. They're using it to watch. They're using it to watch movies that have appeared on it that they've got the license for. They're using it to watch the shows that are well known and well loved. They're not interested in, like, what was it? That Cuties, I think it was.
Oh God!
It was basically child pornography as a fucking movie.
No,
that was
actually
that was part of the reason.
And it's like you're making
Netflix.
stuff like that, and you wonder why we're getting pissed off that we're having to pay an additional fee to watch stuff on your platform. Do you know what? Fuck you. We'll go find a different service that provides the exact same videos that you do, because those other videos are licensed to other companies as well. Fuck you, Netflix.
Yep. And
that's my issue with Netflix. My issue with Netflix, it's not the fact that the normal price is going up, because the normal price goes up every single year to adjust with inflation. That's completely fine. but it's the fact that they're charging an additional fee on top of that.
And one of the main things, like, I think is stupid, the reason the whole additional fee for if you password share and blah blah blah. It's like, well, you guys used to promote password sharing back a couple of years ago in Netflix. It used to be one of the slogans or something. It's like share a password with a friend.
It was a
be
tweet they put
kind.
out. It was a tweet.
Yeah.
It was a tweet they put out, and it was like password sharing with a friend, endless entertainment or some shit, and they promoted it.
Exactly.
they
now
could
they're like,
easily
you share
do.
passwords, bad person.
They could easily do what Disney did for Disney Plus, where you can have extra users on your account at no extra charge.
No, this is
There's,
the thing.
I
They've
believe,
got
a
the
cap.
profiles. They've got the profiles on Netflix, but they're basically saying if these profiles are used outside of your house and you haven't registered or used that account, those profiles on your account in your location, then you're going to have to start paying an extra fee. It's like if Jordan was still using my Netflix, if he wanted to use mine after the password sharing comes in, he would have to come to my house every 30 days to re-enroll his device in order to be able to use it.
That's dumb.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I am against this additional fee thing. Am I probably going to end up paying it? Most likely because my grandparents use Netflix and they use ours, but only because it's going to be cheaper than getting a secondary Netflix account just for them.
And again, I will say this is bad long-term planning, because long-term it's going to drive people away.
It's bad even in the short term. A load of people have already removed their accounts. A
Yeah.
load of people
Well,
are already canceling.
I've said this to other people, and I'll say it here. The top people in charge of these companies
They
are
don't care about
out
it.
of touch with reality.
They don't care about the end users. To us, the end user is just another product.
No, you're just numbers. That's why I say they're out of touch with reality. They think reality is what they want it to be, not what it actually is, which is why it's going to destroy themselves and the company.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on because I think we've spoken enough about the layoffs. We've spent nearly half an hour to 3/4 of an hour on that topic.
Just a little bit.
So, moving on then to our second topic, graphics card pricings are finally dropping.
Yeah.
I know we had the GPU shortage back in 2021 and why I ended up paying nearly $2,500 for my 3080 Ti. I absolutely hate the fact that I spent that, but nobody saw that the graphics cards pricings were going to come down because everybody was buying them for Bitcoin mining and all that lot. And now Bitcoin mining has dropped us and our pricing's going back down, and yay.
Yeah, if you just waited a couple of years, you could have potentially got a rumored 4060 Ti for $399.
I wouldn't have gotten a 4060 Ti. I'd have bought a 4090. Especially considering I spent $2,500 on a fucking RTX 3080 Ti.
Well,
and
that's
I bought
just
a 3090 for that money.
That's just the title of the article we're using. I'm not saying that you'd go with a 4060 Ti. That's just the example. But
like
still,
APOC said, the RTX 4060 Ti has now dropped to $399, with the RTX 4070 going cheap in several markets. Next gen GPUs, so the 40,000 series and the 7,000 series of the AMD Radeon GPUs, are dropping, which is actually nice to see. Firstly, we've got the RTX 4060 Ti rumor saying that it's going to arrive next month, supposedly with the same MSRP as the last generation's 3060 Ti, which of course wasn't anything at all close to MSRP until quite recently because of that fucking GPU shortage. Fuck you, Bitcoin miners.
yeah, fuck you all. Look how Bitcoin's turned out. You happy with your decisions?
$399 is a fair dip versus the $450 number that was previously rumored, and fully $200 below the RTX 4070's MSRP. I'll be honest, I'm glad to see that the prices are finally lowering down to normal.
All right, maybe I can actually upgrade my graphics card maybe soon. Probably not.
I was gonna say, I'm glad to see the numbers dropping. I don't plan on changing anything. My 2080 Super is still running just fine with no problem, so I'm not worried about upgrading.
Yeah,
I want to.
I know with yours, your main bottleneck at the minute on your PC, hey Bok, is your 1070 Ti.
Exactly. So it's like I want to, I kind of need to. It is slowly dying. It's just, will I still have the money even with the price drop? Is that the answer to that? Is most likely
I'll be absolutely
no.
honest. You could get away with a 4070 or a 4060. In fact, you could even get away with the last gen card, and it'd be way better than what you've got now.
Well,
And if you
obviously,
can get a last gen card, you could pick one up cheap off of Amazon.
yeah, it's just also like, it goes into like the, what else do I need to change? Because, if I do get anything like that, I do know I would need to upgrade my PCU as well.
You wouldn't need to
PSU,
change
sorry.
PSU if you went like a 3070, 3060, or a 4070, 4060. It's
But we worked out
only
I
if you were
would.
going higher than that.
Oh, okay, that's good then. I thought we worked out I would. Never
No,
mind
so
then.
if you went for a 3070 Ti or a 4070 Ti or a 4080 or a 3080, you would need a new GPU because they draw considerably amount more power than what your 1070 Ti
Oh,
does.
that's probably what I'm thinking about then, yeah. This
But
conversation was a while ago.
but considering you'll be upgrading to like 2 generations newer than what you've currently got, and you'd be getting a massive performance increase as well, like I'd say like a 3070 would probably be fine. It would be a great increase for you. Even getting something like a 4060 would be enough. A 4060 Ti is going to be up there comparable performance wise to a 3070. So
4060, will I be able to keep my PSU though?
yeah, you should be able
Okay.
to.
I'm
It
trying to think
depends.
of my options.
The 4060 Ti hasn't been released yet, so we don't know obviously TDPs or anything like that. But
Yeah.
once we know what its power draw is going to be, we'd be more informed, and I'd actually be able to help you make that decision.
Yeah, so it does need to happen soon. Saying it's a struggle every day. Whenever I'm gaming, I hear that fan go woo. I was like, please don't die on me.
Yeah, that's normal though. That's normal on a GPU.
No, more than usual. Because even with that, you've seen on stream, even with that fan going into jet engine mode, I've still hitting the 69, 70, 71, 72 degrees. And it's clean before you say. Last time you said, it's like, oh, have you cleaned it?
Woo,
Yes.
jet engine mode.
Yeah, no, GPUs they're built to run on like 70 degrees as their projected target. 80 degrees is sort of the middle ground. If it's any higher than 80, then you need to be worried.
You were talking quite concernedly on stream when you saw that one. I think it was Overwatch I was playing.
No. The reason why I was concerned was because I thought you had VSync on. And I was like, hang on, if you've got VSync on and you're already running at 60 FPS, because this was when I thought you were back on your old 60 hertz monitors, not your 165s.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you got VSync on, you were like, yeah. I was like, your temperature shouldn't be running that high. And then you turned around and told me that you were running newer monitors. You the 165 ones reminded me about them. And I was like, oh, that might be why. Your GPU's trying to push as many fucking frames as it can right now. So that's why your temperature's up high. Just lower your refresh rate of your monitor. You'll be fine. You lowered it absolutely fine from then.
No, I've got 165. I want to use 165.
This is
I
what I
bought
mean,
the damn
though.
thing. I'm going to use the damn thing. If I
This
buy
is what
a GPU,
I mean, though.
I want my task
30
manager to say I'm using 100%. I want to use all of it.
Get a 30 series card. You'll be perfect. You'll be on the money on that, especially with that CPU.
Yeah, and that's what I'll be
like
looking
with
at
my
when,
CPU. The
if I
ideal
get
GPU for mine would have been like a 3090, but I couldn't afford a 3090 because it was like $3,000, and I was like, I'm not spending $3,000 on a GPU. Sorry.
But why not?
Because fuck you, GPU miners. That's why not.
Fuck you, crypto coin bitches.
Anyway, moving on even further, another tech news topic we've got, and this is interesting. It is also kind of funny, but also scary. So I'm glad that Neon's at a party today because he's not going to be paying attention to this news story.
God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Engineers have added
handle
Chat
the Neon.
GPT to a robot dog, and now it can talk.
Have you ever wanted to talk to a dog? Now you can. It's not a real dog, but you can.
No.
What I love the most is the fact that the image credit is the Boston Dynamics robot dog, and it's hilarious.
I do not like this.
The article says it feels like a whole new world of AI is being birthed right before our eyes. perhaps
That's not a
prematurely,
good thing.
perhaps prematurely kicking and screaming as it arrives. While there's a lot of glimmers of potential things in things like AI-driven NPCs, which is actually pretty useful, let's face it, it is a pretty useful aspect there.
I did actually read about that today. Just a quick side note. I was trying to derail, but I did actually read about that today about somebody like modded like chat GPT into Skyrim NPCs so they could actually learn and remember the conversations that you had. And I was like, that's actually a pretty good idea.
I was
so
gonna
NPCs
say,
aren't just stupid.
AI-driven NPCs is going to change games forever because
yeah.
it's like, you know how you've got I think I can't remember, I don't know if
Just wait for
Skyrim is
people
one
that
of
do
them.
all the bad things in those games, the AI to start telling them to fuck off.
Yeah, but it's like the aspect of it is it's like you'll get into certain points of it, but it's like because it's a fixed point and because it's hard coded into the game, the NPC will just be like, I will remember that because you've made one of two decisions. But this will open up a whole new thing for NPCs where you could have conversations. We could even get to the point where you could, like in RPGs, you could talk as if you were your character, like in person, and ask the NPC like real questions and get in real time answers from the NPC as you're playing the game. It would generate a whole new level of RPG games. And I think it would be freaking phenomenal to see it. But I think
that could be
we
a lot
don't
of
need
fun,
it any more than that, really.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it could get a little crazy.
Also, Uncommitted Lum, welcome into Nerdz Discuss. I'm DJ Cost, and I'm in the top left. I'm currently not with my camera today. Issues, that's all I'll say. We've also got Redneck Alcatraz, who's on my right with a nice blue wallpaper. And we got the one and only Apocalyptic, who is just below him with the nice green screen that is just draped there.
Yeah, and I will say, it is not actually wallpaper,
you the solution to your problem.
It is paint, yeah.
Yeah,
we gave you a solution to your problem, just saying.
What?
If you check Discord, we gave you a solution to your problem.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I haven't checked Discord.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you guys.
I'm not wrong. You remember the Mixer Days? Korean
oh,
Jesus? He did just that.
Korean Jesus. Yeah, God.
There's
I
lots
can't believe
of ways
he made
to
me
fix
a mod
things.
as well that day.
There you
go.
There's lots of ways to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome in. We're the Nerds. We like to discuss things once a month, sometimes a little bit more if we find that a topic needs it. We all stream on Twitch as well. So I'm twitch.tv/DJ Costern. You can actually see all of our tags underneath our names, but we got Redneck Alcatraz all one word, and then we've got Apocalyptic with a 0 instead of an O because someone stole that from him.
Yeah, the fucking cunt. I'm pointing basically at it. Yep. Twitch.tv/Apocalyptic with a 0 instead of an O.
But yeah, feel free to follow us, check out our content. In fact, Apoc's going to be streaming straight after this as well.
Remember,
so you can go
our
ahead
links
and
are
check
also in the title if you click our names.
Yes, you can also do that as well.
Yeah.
But going back to the AI stuff, there's also a lot of nappy filler like Square Enix's AI tech preview on Steam. And while some countries are scrambling to set regulations to this new technology, others are adding it to robot dogs, and it's actually pretty cute. Spot is the famed dog from Boston Dynamics. We've seen Spot take care of important tasks like protecting Pompeii and dancing to rock and roll. It's not the first time AI has been integrated into one of these pups, but thanks to the addition of ChatGPT and Google Text-to-Speech, the little guys can now talk. A machine learning engineer named Santiago posted a video of a modded Spot to Twitter, showing some of the journey to integrating these new systems. You can see the engineers adding specific terms to Spot's dictionary to get relevant information out of it, and not just simple things as installing. Oh, so it's not just as simple as installing ChatGPT and hitting go. The team can also be seen programming in yes and no gestures. While the Google default voice leaves a lot to be desired here, the little yes and no wiggles are a bit too cute for a robot that can and will definitely kill me one day.
It will.
While looking
all
like
I can say is wait till they program it to be South Park style.
9-9! Yeah, you got it, Wolfie. While looking like a cute gimmick, this edition actually has some useful implementations for Spot as it's further explained in Santiago's thread. These robots are sent out These robots are sent out on daily missions, collecting lots of data that can be difficult to turn into straight information. Integrating
God, they're doing
ChatGPT
dailies and
lets the
getting
team
XP.
ask the robot direct questions for these
It's
pre-programmed
leveling up.
commands, and it can find the answers for them in real time. It looks like a great example of exactly the kind of work these AI tools should be doing. Crunching data is a task that can take a well-trained human a lot of time to do, as well as just being draining and kind of boring, leading to potential misses. An AI will happily sort through this kind of information in a fraction of the time, presenting what their human counterparts need to continue forward with the task. I want to see more of AI being used in cool, smart ways like this. And just so you know, these are not my words. This is not what I am saying. I do not believe this. But it says, I want to see more of AI being used in cool, smart ways like this and less of it stealing the hard work of artists, which is true because now, and this is one thing that a lot of artists need to be aware of, and I might actually point MBA to this at some point. In
Oh, you
any
mean
contract of any work that you do as an artist, be sure to include a clause that stops AI online scraping. Because if you do not have it, it can be implemented into AI, and it means then you haven't got a legal backbone to stand on because the AI will generate art that is similar to yours, but it isn't actually yours, and they're effectively ripping off your style. Make sure you add that clause.
Yeah, because I was watching a video today. Me and Gab, not today, sorry, the other day. Me and Gabs were watching a video of this AI website that you can just put in like a prompt, like I don't know, beans on toast, just from the conversation earlier, and then this AI will generate like a really, really good like picture, like drawn, painted, whatever of beans on toast, and it's like if sometimes it messes up and you can tell it's AI generated, but like 8 times out of 10. Like this is a picture that you could take, save it, put a little watermark on it, and then say, "Hey guys, I just painted this." Like AI is coming a long way, so artists have to be very careful now.
Do you know what? I'm actually gonna do something in a second. I'm gonna play something on the stream. There is a reason why, because it is kind of funny. Not gonna lie. There was an AI generated pizza advert. I'm gonna play it on the stream. I don't think you guys will have to obviously mute yourselves and like listen in on the stream. But it is kind of interesting. Yeah,
just let me know when.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring it up right now.
All I can say is there's also a AI group that got sued already, or they got slapped with a cease and desist because it was where they AI generate a person's voice, where they take a person's voice, copy it, and then have it say and do things. Well, they did that to a celebrity and almost instantly got slapped with a cease and desist and threatened with a lawsuit if they did not remove all stuff that was used because basically use of their image and
Do you know what? You
appearance
saying
without
that actually
approval.
reminds me of one of the Simpsons Halloween what is it? Halloween episodes. I can't remember the name of them. Treehouse of Horror, that was it. I remember one of their episodes, and basically Homer got he got hired as a hitman to kill celebrities. So because these big companies could then use the celebrities' likenesses without being sued because they're dead. So they wouldn't have to pay royalties to these people, and it just goes to show that this whole AI thing is kind of doing the same thing here. It's like
just another
you
thing
can just
that's
rip off people, whether they're dead or alive, but it just helps that even more. And thank
Dead
you
or
once
alive,
again,
you're
The
working for
Simpsons.
me.
Yeah, once again, The Simpsons. Well done for correctly predicting that.
They all do it. We don't know how, but they do it.
But yeah, I'll play this video. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear it on the stream. If you can't, let me know in the chat. But yeah, let me know when you guys are ready, and I'll hit play.
Ready.
Okay, there is no audio. Got it. Hold on. I'll fix audio. Give me a second. Continue talking about thing, please.
That looked absolutely horrible. I don't know what that was, but that looked horrible.
That mouth. What was that mouth?
What was the thing trying to put in? What
have
in
no
the
idea.
what in the hells was that?
And was this approved? Was this put on the internet, on the TV, on an ad for people to see? Or was this, oh, this failed, we're just going to put it on the
No,
internet?
this is only available on the internet, okay? But this is all completely
So
AI generated.
concerning.
The video, the audio, everything, it is AI generated. Okay. Mute yourself so you don't come through twice on the stream. And I'll play it for you just now.
Are you ready for best pizza of life? Bring friends down to Pepperoni Hug Spot. Our chefs make pizza with heart and special touch. Cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, and more secret things. Need delivery? Pizzas come fast. Knock knock, who's there? Pizza magic. Eat Pepperoni Hug Spot pizza. Your tummy say thank you. Your mouth say, Pepperoni Hug Spot. It's like family, but with more cheese.
It's like family, but with more cheese.
It's freaking horrifying.
That woman was eating the plate. Eating the pizza.
I love it. Gabs is
God.
like, excuse me, secret things, yes.
I was going to mention that as well. Yeah, sorry, secret things.
It's just the fact that the list, it was cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, pizza things.
Ugh.
Papa's
Also,
white
when it looked like
sauce?
they were trying to put vegetables on, it looked like Skittles.
But yeah, I think we're safe to say that AI is nowhere near perfect, and we're not going to be seeing AI generated commercials on TV anytime soon.
Not unless it's a
Oh,
horror.
no, we'll
fucking
get
ad
AI
bad.
generated scripts.
Oh, scripts. Yeah, I can see the scripts because they can.
Oh
then
no, it's
be
already
tweaked.
happening. It's already happening. There's at least
Yeah.
one news company who has adopted using AI generated scripts instead of having their staff members write the articles.
Oh damn. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they've got to have an editor reading them out
That was like
after
2
just to
months
make
ago. I
sure that
remember
it
hearing that.
actually makes sense when it's being read. Because it's like in that advert where it's just like your belly say thanks, your mouth go It's like that was not what a human would say. It's like I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
you got it
even with
reversed.
places like that, there's gonna have to be editors like going through it and checking to make sure that it is actually readable and actually sounds like it's a human.
Yeah, it's
It's funny though. It's funny.
it's messed up.
Not in
Jesus.
our generation, fuckers. Holds both middle fingers. I love it, Gabs.
I mean, you say that, but look where it was just 2 years ago, and look at it now, and then try and think that through.
Yeah. Oh, ridiculous. It really is. But hey ho.
Shit scares me.
Anyway, moving forward then, some more good tech news. And this all started on April 1st when Asus ROG put up a tweet for April Fools, in quotation marks, announcing the ROG Ally. Did we all see the tweet? April, did you see the tweet?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't know about this until I was researching some stuff the other day for today.
So basically, ROG put out a tweet basically announcing the ROG Ally, a handheld console that is meant to be a competitor to the Steam Deck, which if you don't know anything about the Steam Deck or you've been living under a fucking rock all this time, go check out our episode from season 1 where we spoke about the Steam Deck and what we were hoping to look from it. That was before the Steam Deck release, so there was no official anything. But now, a few years after the line, we might have to revisit that episode and talk a bit about it and do a sort
Perhaps.
of Steam Deck revisited or whatever. But the ROG Ally was announced, and people thought it was an April Fool's joke because obviously it was posted on April Fool's Day for Asus ROG to then basically go 4 days later going, yeah, you know that April Fool's we posted a few days ago? Yeah, that's an actual product that we're launching. Apog, would you like to talk about the ROG Ally? Seeing as you say that you looked it up and this was a complete first for you.
Sure.
It'd be nice to know your official thoughts. Just this being the first time you've heard of it, because obviously I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah,
You've obviously got both aspects because you also own a Steam Deck as well, so you can sort of say your thoughts
yes.
comparing it to the Steam Deck.
And you know what I mean when I say this. You get the stuff up ready to show, as well as I talk about it. This is what
the images.
what we talked about in the pre-show, or in the pre-show. I don't remember.
The pre-show
Yes.
or the pre-show?
The pre-show or the pre-show?
It's just two of them, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's just two of them.
Yeah, there's just two. One, they're right next to each other.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
So Asus have been building basically a competitor to the Steam Deck called the Ally for 5 years, and they released some images that have been quite interesting. People have said it's hideous of what the prototype may be.
Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this?
Oh,
We'll get the images out of the way first. So yes, whenever we're all ready.
Oh, do it.
This is the first one.
Oh, these
Looks like a
prototype
tooth.
images are so bad.
If you ever wanted to try a console that was made for dentistry, this is your perfect hand.
My eyes.
Gabs,
Are you ready?
my
Are
eyes.
you ready for the second one, though, Gabs? Because if you think this one was bad, you should see the second one because it looks like it was AI generated.
Actually, the
Yes.
first one, do you honestly know what this reminds me of? A 1950s or 1960s TV where you had it set in the box that was on stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
That's what it reminds me of.
Then the second one.
Second one looks like it's got a piece of poop on it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a phone turned on its side with a fucking like dongle attached to the bottom of it that's made out of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who they've got in Asus that come up with their prototype designs, but maybe they need to be laid off.
Whoever the question, what am I looking at? Are you sure you want to know? Are you sure you want to know?
I don't. But
I don't even know what it's supposed to be.
The article
It's
goes
meant to
in
be a
just
console,
says-
you know.
It's meant
No,
to
it's supposed to be
It's
some
meant
kind of
to be a
handheld
console,
thingamajig.
A handheld console thingamajig. It's a dildo, as Gab
So
says.
isn't
It's
it?
whatever you want it to be. It's got many functions.
I mean, what's the internet saying? If you're brave enough, anything can be.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're brave enough, anything could be a dildo.
Anything can be a dildo.
Even a character.
So there you go, Gabs.
Yeah, Asus have been at pains to make it clear that it was making the ROG Ally handheld gaming PC long before Valve launched its Steam Deck. Sure, it's an AMD-powered PC console, just like Valve made.
As
but
most
Asus
handhelds are. Sorry, but not
yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry. Asus released an image of a section of different prototype models, as you saw, from the 5 years of iteration before setting on an Ally design, just like the Valve released. So yeah, it took them 5 years to come up with those two. I don't know, like I said, I don't know who was working in their prototype design team, but I think they need to get themselves checked out. Just saying.
So just to add a bit of context here, here's the tweet that they shared on April 1st. Introducing ROG's first gaming handheld console. Taking your PC games out of your living room is no longer a fantasy. Play wherever you are and whenever you are with the ROG Ally. You'll never have to stop gaming again. And they've got a link to the to Best Buy there. And basically they've got a video explaining it, and a lot of people thought that it was an April Fool's joke because it was posted at 5 a.m. on April 1st, which considering Asus ROG is Eastern Standard Time, that's midnight for them. So a lot of people were thinking, hey, yeah, this is for sure an April Fool's. For them to then go 3 days later, because they posted some more on April 2nd about it, which people thought, hey, yeah, haha.
We get it, it's a joke.
But then on April 3rd, they put a tweet going, it's real. Stay tuned for more. Want to know when pre-orders start? And then go to the Best Buy link. We're not Canadian. We're not even the United States, but those are the only two. But there has been no price announced yet, as far as I can see.
I haven't figured it out yet.
You see, that design actually looks nice. It looks basically like the Steam Deck. As
Oh,
it
it
Yeah,
looks
looks
sweet.
similar
It
to
looks
Steam Deck.
nice.
but it does look nice.
I mean, I think that design actually dates back to one of Nintendo's designs. The Game Boy Advance, I think it was. because it had the screen in the middle and then controls on the sides.
Yeah. I think the best thing about it, though, is the image that they posted on the April 3rd one where they had to put at the bottom, not an April
Not an
Fool's
April
joke.
Fool's joke.
Yeah. Yeah, they
As
had
if
to
it wasn't
preface
evident
that with,
enough
like,
from 3 days later.
just saying, guys.
I was saying I do like the added little touch that they've done where the the analog sticks, where it has a little light around them. That is pretty cool. Little small thing, but as a gamer, we like our
We like that
LEDs.
RGB.
Yeah, that is our I can't even say it right now.
No, the RPGs, you got
The
it. We love
the
those
RPGs,
RPGs.
Yeah, we like those. Yeah, we really like
RPGs,
those.
Yeah.
LMGs,
RPGs,
ARs,
LMGs, ARs, tactical ARs, whatever you like, we like them. But
SR,
yeah,
DMR.
SRMR, pistols, shotguns.
Yep, I like them all.
We like them all. Dabs.
I
thank
have
you.
a bunch of them.
I like.
But yeah, I like
you're a
it.
gamer. I like RGB. I have all the RGB.
All the RGB.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes on to say the company's just unveiled the ROG Ally, as we saw, ahead of its full launch on May the 11th this year, and we've been
That's
talking
next
about
month.
which is next month, not next year.
Whatever.
We've been talking about Asus, about the machine itself, and how it fits into the
Burgeoning.
burgeoning, thank you, handheld gaming PC market, as that's been kicking off with you had the Nintendo Switch. That was like the main big one that came out, and then obviously we had like the Switch Lite, and then Steam came out with like, hey, Steam Deck, and then now obviously we've got the
thing is,
Ally.
I think this is one important topic of conversation that we've really got to touch on. Is the Steam Deck technically classified as a completely separate category? Because the Switch, it is sort of like it's got its own little ecosystem. You can only play Nintendo games on it, whereas the Steam Deck, it's more like a portable computer than a handheld games console, is what a lot of people keep on saying. Because a lot of people keep on saying the Steam Deck, it's a games console. It's not. It's effectively just a portable computer.
Yeah, because as long as it's
should it have a separate category?
If it's on Steam and it has the Steam Deck support, you can play it. So you can near enough play anything you can play on a PC, assuming it's supported on Steam Deck.
Which, just to say, every single game that it has Linux support is officially supported on the Steam Deck. It's only that certain games have got a verified sticker on them that says that it works well or is great to run on the Steam Deck. So don't just think that it's only the stickered games that will play on the Steam Deck, because it's not just the stickered games ones. It's just that other games haven't been tested yet on the Steam Deck.
So you could be the tester for them. You won't get any money for it, but you could do it.
I mean, actually, they might pay you.
They might pay you. We're not saying you would. We're not saying you wouldn't.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
That's up to them.
Yeah, Paul, continue with the article.
Yeah. So the question everyone's been asking, but would the Ally exist were it not for the Steam Deck? The answer is yes, it would still exist. Then a name that is weird for me to pronounce, Galit Fu, Ace's global marketing director, tells us, but perhaps not as soon as 2023, Valve has been a center figure for the PC gaming industry for decades and has a special place in the hearts of gamers, including us, Gabe Daddy.
Daddy Gabe!
Daddy Gabe. Well, we have had the design for the Windows-based PC gaming handheld device ready for some time. We were waiting for something that could offer the ultimate gaming experience, something that could meet the performance demands of gamers. And that's where there's something grim-looking prototype came in, as we saw the first one, the tooth-looking one. I mean, if you want to bring that back up, since we're talking about it specifically, I mean, what the hell is that meant to be? It looks like some sort of 1950. As Redneck says, 1950s pseudo futuristic TV.
Exactly what Redneck said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's literally what it looks like.
Did you say Gabe? Daddy Gabe? Yes, Daddy Gabe. If you know Steam, you know Daddy Gabe.
Oh yeah.
We have no idea whether that's a stand or where
I'm
you're
just
meant to be holding
for a
the
moment.
device. Go ahead. That's the end of that.
Oh, thank you. So while we were talking about the Steam Deck and things like that, the difference between Steam Deck and the ROG Ally is the ROG Ally runs a Windows OS, which means any game that you can effectively run on a Windows PC, which is basically every single game on Steam, you can play it on the ROG Ally. the limitations there is with the Steam Deck, you don't get that support because, unfortunately, most of the games that are made for the Steam Deck have got a compatibility layer. I can't remember what it's called. It's not Wine. It was Proton. That was it. It was called Proton, and the Proton engine basically means that Windows games can run on Linux. Steam OS, which is on the Steam Deck, is a Linux-based OS. So it uses the Proton translation layer in order to be able to run those games, whereas you've got direct Windows support with the ROG Ally, which is why the ROG Ally is going to be so much different to the Steam Deck in terms of compatibility, and I think it's going to blow the Steam Deck out of the water when it launches.
That's the idea.
Honestly, though, I don't know how to feel about it, because we've had other handheld consoles or handheld PCs made by companies like IONEO, etc., that have tried to do the same thing. It's just, with the amount of bloatware that there is in Windows, it's like, at what point is it actually going to be a worthwhile device? I think.
Well, they've come a long way in that, at least, because Windows does make they've had to make their stuff suitable for like tablets now, like the Chromebook. Well, not Chromebook specifically, but those size
I know
of
what you mean,
devices.
like those sort of like 2-in-1 laptops or 3-in-1 laptops,
so
I think they're called.
If you were to look at where it was like 3-4 years ago versus where it is now, nowadays they're having to design Windows so that it can work on that, because there's a lot of that. So it's more likely to be functional now than where it was before.
I think it's very much gonna. I think it's very much gonna depend on what games you want to play on it, because
How
we've
good it's gonna
seen
be, I have
some
no idea.
people. We've already seen some videos surfacing a review of the product, and Linus Tech Tips did one, and he showed Cyberpunk 2077 running on it. Of course, you're not going to be able to do anything fancy like running ray tracing or anything like it on there, but if you want a comfortable handheld gaming experience, this kind of slots in next to the Steam Deck. Whether or not it's going to be better than the Steam Deck is yet to be seen.
We won't know on that one till it actually comes out and people actually play it. Once it's released into the wild and people can check it out.
But I think one of the
Then we'll
things
find
that's
out.
definitely going to be a lot better and going to play a lot nicer with the ROG Ally is the fact that you're not just going to be limited to playing games on Steam. You're going to be able
Yes.
to play games from even the Xbox store. Like, Jesus Christ, can you imagine having a handheld Xbox gaming device?
I mean, it'd be nice.
Like, I know there's rumors at the minute of Microsoft making a handheld Xbox cloud gaming device. And there's rumors of them creating a Xbox Stream Box, which basically means you can plug them into a TV and basically use Xbox Cloud's gaming streaming service to play it without needing a physical Xbox console. And like, it's a good idea, but it's like, I would much rather be able to play those games on the native hardware rather than having to stream them, because it means if Xbox were to make a handheld gaming console, it would probably use the cloud gaming service, but that would mean that you'd need an internet connection wherever you are. So you'd either need one that's got 5G capability built into the device, or you'd need a phone that's got mobile connection all the time that you can share the Wi-Fi on.
So you're gonna have things going either way on that.
It's definitely going to be interesting. The fact that you're opened up to a lot more stores, and the fact that you can play these Xbox games, like you'd be able to play things like Generation Zero and be able to play with your console peasant friends natively on the console, rather than having to do all the bullshit. Like, you could play Generation Zero on the Steam Deck if you wanted. The only problem is you're not going to be able to play with your friends on Xbox.
As we found out the hard way.
You know, and it's the same. You'll be able to play countless amounts of Xbox titles in the palm of your hand, and while you can do that with your phone, there's just something different about having a dedicated device for gaming that you could literally just take out. And it's the fact that you're not connected to a cloud-based service, so it means you can download the game and you can go play it while you're on the train or something. So if I want to go play Forza Horizon 5 and I'm on a train journey or something, I can play it on the console without having to worry about, is my internet connection going to stay stable as I go through this tunnel?
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting device. But what do you think? Obviously, as an owner of a Steam Deck, Jordan, do you think that it would hold up against it, or do you think that? I think more importantly, would you sell a Steam Deck to buy one, or would you stick with the Steam Deck?
I mean, we'd have to get more information on it, like, because obviously it's just we haven't been given the specs of it, like the price range, what it can do, what it can't do exactly. From what has been, what information has been released about it and what people are saying about it, it could be a good contender. It could be better than it. If it did turn out to be, a lot better than it in the terms of like, oh, it's more powerful, it can run more games, better games, because the fact that it's on Windows and not
Okay,
Linux.
hold the phone. The pricing was announced 2 days ago. I just did a little Google and I just found out it was
Oh.
announced 2 days ago.
Okay.
Apparently it surfaced on Best Buy by accident. The listing shows the highly anticipated, so it's running an AMD Z1 APU, which basically uses the Zen 1 architecture, which is basically, if you're into computers and you know your shit, that's Ryzen 1000 series CPUs. It will be launching at $699.
See, that's a lot more than what the Steam Deck is.
Just $50 more than Valve's top SKU, which means that it's either, from the looks of what it says here, it sounds like that the Zen 1, it might be a Zen 1 Plus, actually. It doesn't specify. But the CPU, GPU, APU combo there, it looks like it could be more powerful than the Steam Decks.
Yeah.
But that pricing as well, it doesn't specify what the storage on it. It could be that the ROG Ally comes at base with 512 gigs of storage.
Exactly.
Whereas, as you know, the 512 gig model of the Steam Deck is the highest priced one.
Yep.
It's 128, 256, or 512.
Yeah, so as I said, it's the different comparisons taken into consideration. I was going to go into the Z1 and that as well, because that is part of the article. Yeah, that's I was going to skip down to that bit because it just compare like what we do know compared to the Steam Deck to the Ally. It does say the Steam Deck introduction into 2021 was a great encouragement for us, says Fu, inspired us to accelerate our collaboration with AMD to develop something even more advanced, something that is powerful and efficient enough for a modern PC handheld gaming. And the AMD Z1 and Z1 Extreme chip looks to be the right kind of hardware to be sticking into a handheld gaming PC. However, you shape the outsides. At a low end, you're talking about far more GPU power than the Steam Deck can offer, and at the top end of 8.6, is that T-flops? Do you pronounce that?
Teraflops.
Teraflops. With the Z1 Extreme, you're looking at desktop graphic card performance in the order of an RX 6600.
Right, so obviously we're just looking. So yeah, the RX 6600, it's actually a really decent, like, that's a dedicated GPU. That's not integrated. That's a dedicated GPU, the 6600.
Yeah.
It is a really good card. Like, that is last generation AMD Radeon graphics. I was wrong. It's not Zen 1. It's actually Zen 4. So it's based off the same architecture of the latest 7000 Ryzen CPUs. But also, while I'm just looking at this, it's an 8-core 16 thread CPU compared to the Steam Deck, which is only a Zen 2 4-core CPU. So it's quite a bit better CPU wise.
Yeah.
And yeah, this does come with this comes as standard with a 512 gig M.2 SSD with the expansion of a micro SD slot as well. It basically, it looks like everything else spec wise is looking very, very similar to the Steam Deck, except the screen. The screen on the Steam Deck is basically 720p 60 hertz, whereas the ROG Ally is 1080p at 120 hertz. Smooth.
Okay, is in the price. The price is looking more and more understandable.
And bearing in mind, considering and putting them basically toe to toe against each other, because the 512 gig version of the ROG Ally ROG Ally is $699 for 512 gig, and then you're comparing that to the 512 gig version of the Steam Deck for $649. That $50 increase for a way better CPU and effectively last generation graphics of a discrete graphics card, that is very comparable for $699. Like, I'm not being funny. I would buy a PC for like $800-$900 for a computer that had similar specs to that to the ROG Ally. So
Yeah.
it's definitely looking like that price is very, very competitive, putting it down against it.
Well,
Yeah,
to
once you factor
basically
in all
answer
the
your
stuff.
question, would I sell my Steam Deck for it? No, because I'm not really somebody that I don't know. It's like I'm a collector sort of like thing when it comes to like gaming as well. Like I like to like just own them all. So it's like,
Okay,
would I
let me
sell my
readjust
Steam
the
Deck?
question then. If you
Okay.
if you had the money and you could buy either or at the time, you hadn't bought the Steam Deck and you've got the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally, which one would you buy?
Okay, which one would I buy if I didn't already have the Steam Deck? Going by the information that we have, because again, this isn't anything like confirmed, but going by the information that we have, I would, and if I had the money for one or the other, didn't have the money for both, I would go with the Ally.
I would probably do the Ally as well.
Do you know what? Genuinely, I agree with you both. Primarily on a compatibility standpoint.
Yeah.
That's why. Because if it could run anything, any Windows thing, I can take some of my old games and drop them on there.
Yeah. And it's like, I know people have been doing it with the Steam Deck as well because they've been able to reflash and basically reinstall an OS. So they've been able to install something
Yeah.
like RetroArch on the Steam Deck, and they've been able to use it as a handheld sort of like retro gaming console. I know they've been able to do it there, but the fact that you'd be able to do it without needing to reinstall it on the ROG Ally is a big plus.
Yeah. That part makes it nice.
It's a shame that they're not from the looks of things that they're not releasing a lower sized version for like the extreme version, because it does say here that they're releasing two different versions of it. The one with the extreme one, which is comparable to the Steam Deck with the 512 gig one. But they're releasing a lower spec one which uses the Ryzen Z1 non-extreme SoC, which will have a 256 gig SSD in it. Which isn't to say that you can't upgrade it, just like the Steam Deck, because you can upgrade the Steam Deck storage. So, plus, I'm not gonna lie, the ROG Ally just looks way sicker. Just looks way nicer.
I mean, if that photo is
just
accurate,
look at that. Just look at this photo here. Like they've shipped out review units of what the final product's going to be like into reviewers' hands. So this is what it's going to look like. But it looks great.
From a personal preference, I prefer the Steam Deck on the color because I don't like.
Oh yeah, I prefer
more of a
black
darker
one.
color than I like.
I don't like the white.
That I'm not gonna base my purchase just on the color. But if I had to pick something that I didn't like about it, it's the color.
But yeah, it looks great. And the one thing that I absolutely love is the fact that they've got obviously two heat sinks. One to call, basically both of them are to call the CPU GPU combo. But they've got two sort of like heat intakes. One of them is just effectively a square that's made out of like little tiny cuts. But the other one is the ROG logo, and I love that. That's just a really nice touch.
Yeah. They made the
and then
logo,
obviously they've added
sink.
RGB on the back as well because they've got to make it gamer.
Obviously.
Yeah, they did.
But it genuinely just looks like a phenomenal console.
Is that RGB on the side as well? So scroll back down. Scroll back down.
Oh, you mean at the bottom corner? Where is it? Bottom corner there. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool as well. And then, as I said before, a lot around the analog sticks as well. Then that just pleases the little gamer in me.
Oh yeah, it genuinely looks phenomenal. And I love how Best Buy have got it listed for sale on the 13th of June. Even though that the console releases on the 11th of May.
Yeah.
GG. I almost got
I guess,
confused
Best
there
Buy.
for a second because I forgot Americans are weird and have it reversed. I was like, wait, there isn't a 13th month.
Yeah. What?
We're not. This isn't The Simpsons. This isn't Smarch.
Smarch.
I was like, oh yeah. For some reason, Americans do.
Yeah, we haven't
Month,
flipped
dates,
compared to
year.
y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know where
Anyway.
that came from.
Anyway, we're gonna have to move on because obviously we're coming up to the 2-hour mark again.
Yep.
But let's talk about the biggest game releases from April. Any thoughts on the games that you guys have got as well? Have you bought them? Have you played them? Have you seen anyone play them? What are your general thoughts of the game? I'll be honest, I haven't seen many of these because I haven't spent a lot of time on Twitch because, as you know, I've been busy with my own shit. So I haven't really had time to have a look at this. But I guess we'll start off with probably the biggest release of 2023 that a lot of people were really looking forward to, and that was Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
I'm intrigued. I haven't even played the first one, but I've been told the first one was very, very good.
Yeah.
So if they can keep that up with as good as the first one was, and if they can do that again, then it's going to be highly interesting. And the fact that they're actually doing this as continuing the story also makes it interesting. So I'm curious to see how this one will turn out.
So I'll give a quick read of the description for those of you who don't know anything about it. The story of Cal Kestis continues in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, a third-party galaxy-spanning action-adventure game from Respawn Entertainment, developed in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games. The narratively driven single-player title picks up 5 years after the events of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and follows Cal's increasingly desperate fight as the galaxy descends further into darkness. Pushing to the edges of the galaxy by the Empire, Cal will find himself surrounded by threats new and familiar. As one of the last surviving Jedi Knights, Cal is driven to make a stand during the galaxy's darkest times. But how far is he willing to go protecting himself, his crew, and the legacy of the Jedi Order? And funnily enough, that game was released yesterday. So I'm guessing nobody's seen any gameplay of it yet.
I've seen people
No, I
play it,
haven't.
but I haven't
I
actually
mean, it's
watched them
brand
play it.
new. The release date was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was somebody streaming it on my follower list yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but I didn't watch it.
I know a lot of people have been
Oh,
waiting
it was
for
Shroud because he's actually playing it now.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, I'm guessing he got it early
Wow.
because his title is Day 3.
Yeah, he must have gotten it early.
Well, if you pre-ordered, you got access a day early. I think it was.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't be
True.
surprised if he got it early. You know, it's Shroud. You know, they do tend to give big gamers it early just to like show it off and everything.
Show it
But yeah.
off, free advertisement. Well, not free because
Exactly.
they're still paying Shroud probably to
Yeah.
feature it.
More advertisement.
But yeah, what do you like? I know Rednecks basically said his, but what do you think, Apok? Like a bit more in detail. What are your thoughts?
I mean, what I've heard of it, it looks really good. Like I've not seen proper gameplay of the first one, Fallen Order, but what I have seen, it looks really good. The story seems really good. You know, the gameplay fluid seems really smooth. The graphics good. Everything it seems like a really good game. So as Redneck says, as long as this one follows on from that one in the same aspect, you know, with everything being good, they didn't try and do anything experimental that's going to ruin it, then this one should be good as well. And I'll definitely be interested in looking into either playing both of them or watching some gameplay of.
I was
of both
gonna
of them.
say, I think this is gonna be one of those games where, like God of War, you're gonna have to play the first one to figure out what happens in the sequel.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't play this one without playing the
you're
first one.
better
or at
off
least
if
seeing.
you do.
Yeah, you could, but you would be a bit confused.
Yeah,
and
you
it's kind of
could,
like
but I would
You're gonna
probably advise
miss out
picking
on
up the
things.
first one.
Exactly.
Right, moving on then. The next game on the list is Dead Island 2. It's a thrilling first-person action RPG, stylish, vibrant, and flooded with zombies. With zombie infection. Explore iconic, gore-drenched Los Angeles. Meet larger-than-life characters, slay countless foes in exquisitely bloody detail, and evolve to become the ultimate zombie slayer. A deadly virus is spreading across Los Angeles, turning its inhabitants into zombies, bitten, infected, but more than just immune. Uncover the truth behind the outbreak and discover who or what you are. Survive, evolve, and save the world. This was released on April 21st.
I think I've seen some clips of this.
So Gabs in chat says Dead Island is pretty good. Can't wait to see what the second has.
I think it's Dead Island, the first one. I've only ever seen the trailer where it's the guy jogging down California beachfront, and then you see the zombie outbreak slowly turn out, and then he ends up turning himself. I've never actually seen any gameplay of Dead Island, and yeah, I've not really seen anything of this one. But again, I've heard it's good. So again, same as what I said from
I know
Star
this sort
Wars.
of game would be right up your alley because of the whole zombie aspect. It matches with your
definitely.
brand.
Yeah, definitely. Another one to look into after Ragnarok, Gabs.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of games that have been released specifically in the last month that we'd definitely take a look into, or we'd be playing them, because there are a lot of games that are really good. I think one of the big months this year to be looking out for games is sort of September, October, that sort of area, because that's normally when the big AAA titles get released after they've been announced at like E3 well, E3's been cancelled now, but what is it? I think it's Gaming Fest or something that they're doing over
the various
over
gaming
June,
festivals
July.
will have happened.
Anyway, next up, we have, this was released on 18th of April on Nintendo Switch, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Minecraft Legends. Discover the mysteries of Minecraft Legends, a new action strategy game. Explore a gentle land of rich resources and lush biomes on the brink of destruction. The ravaging piglins have arrived, and it's up to you to inspire your allies and lead them in strategic battles to save the overworld. I have seen gameplay for this. I watched the Microsoft thing when they announced a whole bunch of stuff. I saw the Minecraft Legend things. It looks great, but I feel like Microsoft and Mojang are just trying to milk the horse that is Minecraft.
Obviously.
Milk the horse?
Yes, and we've named it Minecraft.
Oh. You really can't milk a horse, but whatever.
I think that's
not
kind
with
of
that
the point.
attitude.
That's the point of the comment, Redneck.
I mean, you can milk a stallion. Just it won't be milk that comes out of it.
But yeah, I'll be honest. Minecraft Legends, it looks awesome. It's very much like it's very much similar to a TD game or a tower defense game. You basically build a base and you've got to try and protect it by adding extra stuff. It's best in co-op than it is a single player. It's interesting. It really is. The story's a lot to be desired, though, from what I saw from the announcement video. Probably not something that I will play, like purposefully play as a long-term thing. I'll probably give it a go when now that I know it's been launched, and I'll probably try it for a bit, but I don't think this is a game that I would probably stream or anything. It's very much one of those games that's just like, I don't really care.
I can see that. I mean, I never had as much of an interest in the Minecraft stuff in the first place, but that was me.
Gabs, I think you voice the same thing that most Minecraft fans do, and that is that they work on more of the original, more animals and materials. They need to improve it a little bit more. I think there's a lot that they could add into the game to make it a lot better. Anyway, moving on. This one is specific to Nintendo Switch. Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
I know not of this.
Neither do I.
I've never heard.
Neither do I.
It says here, lead Andy, Max, Sammy, and other colorful commanding officers in a fun turn-based strategy game. Your expertise is needed as you move land, air, and naval units across the game map. Call upon your commanding officers for help. Each have their own specialties and powerful abilities. For example, Andy can repair units, while Sammy can boost the abilities of troops. Keep an eye on the game-changing terrain and weather as you lead a variety of units across multiple maps. This from-the-ground-up remake features 2 campaigns that cover the events of Advanced Wars and Advanced Wars 2 Black Hole Rising. Okay, cool.
Interesting. It's an RTS.
Yeah. That was released April 21st. I guess we
For
don't
the
really have any
Switch.
thoughts on it.
Well, it's for the
Nope.
Switch, so unless you have the Switch, you don't have access to it.
This is one for the PlayStation fans. I don't know if you've played any of them before. Have you played any of the Horizon games?
I have not. I don't know about Epoch.
Jordan?
No.
Okay, then. Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores. South of the Tanakath Clannad lands, a millennia of volcanic eruptions and violent seismic activity have carved the ruins of Los Angeles into a treacherous, whatever that fucking word is. I can't fucking pronounce it.
Archipelago.
Archipelago. There we go. Experience the next chapter of Horizon Forbidden West as Aloy pursues a sinister new threat to the planet hidden amongst these dangerous, untamed wilds. This was released on April 19th on PS5 only.
I've been told Horizon Forbidden West was a good game. I just know nothing about it.
Yeah,
I've seen
I've
very,
heard that it was a
very
big.
small gameplay of it.
I think this is going to be interesting because this is one of the first major exclusives for the PS5.
We'll see how
And
it
that's
works.
one of the things that PS5 has been lacking in a lot recently, and that is exclusives to try and keep people on their console. Because
They
look
did
at
have some good exclusives, God of War, The Last of Us, but obviously now The Last of Us, and you can get
but
on.
no. But when I'm saying
Epic.
exclusives to the PS5, I mean you could also get them on the PS4.
Oh, you mean
It wasn't.
only
I'm on
PS5?
about
Okay,
specifically for the PS5.
okay,
Like
got you.
this new Horizon Forbidden West Forbidden West game is exclusive only to the PS5. You can't get it on the PS4, which is
Yeah.
going to entice people to want to buy a PS5. Up until now, I don't think there's been any game released specifically for the PS5. I know the last Spider-Man game that was released on PS4, but they released a PS5 version, so you could run it on a PS5, but it wasn't exclusive to the PS5.
Yeah, like same with God of War Ragnarok. It was released on PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like that's where Sony were going, and I mean I think the whole gaming industry is going in that way now of releasing games for both generations of consoles now, because a lot of people already have a PS4, a lot of people already have an Xbox, and the fact that the gaming industry are creating them for both generations is nice, but we need to start seeing more exclusives for the newer consoles, because if you're making it to work over both console sets, you're not really going to be taking advantage of the newer hardware and the newer consoles. You're not really
Yeah.
going to be taking advantage of being able to create these vast worlds that can utilize ray tracing if you're building for both consoles. So we need to see more of these exclusives. Like, don't get me wrong, with the Xbox ones, at least things like Halo Infinite, I'll take as a prime example, released on PC, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series consoles. With the Xbox Series versions of it, it added ray tracing support. It actually expanded on it, and it looked a whole lot better. And then obviously they didn't have that on the Xbox One version. And then with PC, you could turn it on or off or whatever as you play it. That's completely up to you. But when you've got games that are made for PS4 and PS5, they're kind of just saying, hey, yeah, we've made a PS4 game. You can play it on PS5. There's no real thing that separates the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Next game on the list, Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened, that was it doesn't say release date. It just says release date. Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Doesn't say a date on it. But it's a new
We'll
Sherlock
never
Holmes
know.
game. I don't really care about it. I don't know if you do.
Nope.
I find it kind of weird that they're putting Cthulhu with Sherlock Holmes. Otherwise, I don't really care.
We know
True.
somebody who probably will be into it.
I mean, all the Cthulhu fans will probably love it.
Oh, probably.
Those guys will probably go like, "Ooh, yeah." It means nothing to me though.
Yeah. We've also got Esports PGA Tour. Once again, another fucking golfing game. Do we care? No. It was released on April 7th.
No,
Any thoughts from you two?
I've never been a fan of the sports games. It's just
Nope.
never.
I don't see the point. It's like FIFA. Okay. Why would you basically take a game you've already effectively perfected because people keep on buying it and just add a new number to it. It's like that's basically all they do. I think
I know,
at most we probably need an update like every console generation, but that's about it.
I know none of us really care about the game, but just because we've mentioned it, I know there'll be some hardcore FIFA fans that will make this argument, like in the chat or whatever.
Probably.
Well, what about COD? It's the exact same. Yeah, we know. None of us really care about COD, but we're
No.
aware that they do the exact same thing as well. It's the exact
They
same
do the
game.
exact same thing, but I think the difference with COD is it depends on which part of the franchise you're buying from, because it's like, yeah, they do Black Ops, but have you noticed more than one version of Black Ops for the same generation? It's like
No.
Black Ops 3 was released on PS3 and PS4, but Black Ops 4 was only released on the PS4. Black Ops 2 was on the Xbox. You know, you don't really see ones of the same sort of the part of the franchise on the same console. And like, yeah, the main thing is the story, and the story does change on each one. And I know a lot of people will buy Call of Duty for the story. A lot of people will buy it for the multiplayer. But the multiplayer, it differs very, very slightly with each one. With FIFA, you kick a ball and you hope to score a goal. The literal changes each year is literally who the footballers are that you can buy or get in the packs. That is literally the only change. So with FIFA, why couldn't it just be, okay, we'll release one version for this generation of console, and we'll just keep on adding DLC updates or just free updates that just update. Oh wait, no, because it's EA and they need to make money.
EA Sports.
Yeah, there's
the
a reason they
game.
release a
All
new
your
version
money.
almost every
No,
year.
EA Sports. It's in the money.
That's the one.
Xbox also finally got Ghostwire Tokyo as well on April 12th. Quite interesting. Would you like me to read the description here for it?
Sure. That one seems like it could be a little interesting.
Face the unknown, uncover the truth, and save the city. Tokyo is overrun by deadly supernatural forces, perpetrated by a deadly oculist, causing Tokyo's population to vanish in an instant. Ally with a powerful spectral entity on their quest for vengeance and master a powerful arsenal of abilities to unravel the dark truth behind the disappearance as you face the unknown in Ghostwire Tokyo. And that is an Xbox Series X and S exclusive. Again, exclusives. Yay.
Yay.
Boo.
I like generational exclusives. I don't like it when they keep it to one thing though. But then again, we already got Ghostwire Tokyo on PCs. I'm not bothered. We've also got in this list The Last Case of Benedict Fox. Self-proclaimed detective bound to his demon companion. That was released on April 27th, so 2 days ago on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. There's also The Mage Seeker, A League of Legends. Developed by Digital Sun, creators of Moonlight, The Mage Seeker, A League of Legends story is an action RPG that takes place in the League of Legends universe. In the kingdom of whatever, the Mage Seekers hold the power to oppress magic-using citizens in the name of public order by inducting and indoctrinating them, locking them away, or driving them into hiding. That's now available on Switch, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
They sound like such nice people.
Demacia, that's how I'd pronounce that.
Oh, okay.
The Kingdom. I could be wrong. Anyone that
Demacia?
is anyone in the chat that's a virgin and plays League of Legends, that's a joke, by the way.
I want to say Demacia?
Demacia, yeah, Demacia, something like that.
It doesn't matter. The next one on the list is from none other than Capcom, and that is Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Fucking hell, that's a mouthful. Experience all 10 mainline Mega Man Battle Network titles, complete with previous exclusive battle chips and long-awaited net battles that you can enjoy alongside friends and other players worldwide. Basically, it's all of the Mega Man games rolled into fucking one with an aspect of online multiplayer. That's basically it.
I actually like this.
And it's a fuck you to Xbox.
Oh, you actually like it? Okay, Redneck, you can fucking talk about it.
Everything but Xbox.
Yeah, well, the reason I like it is because I actually liked the Mega Man games, but they had a They did the same thing that Pokemon did when they did like their exclusive. Like you have the classic red and blue version.
Hmm.
There were things you could only get in red and things you could only get in blue. But if you wanted the full collection, you had to trade back and forth between people.
Yeah.
So with doing this collection, since it says you get all the exclusive stuff, and you can do like online access, it is now possible to do things in those games that you literally were restricted and could not do previously.
Yeah, it's like this is one of the things as well. Like if you want to go back to, you were saying about Pokemon, the updates in Scarlet and Violet is just great. Like even I know with Sword and Shield it was, but it was quite similar in the fact that there was the online play aspect and blah blah blah. But the fact that they added additional stuff that you could do, and the fact that you could do a lot of stuff like together in the worlds as well was awesome.
Yeah, and that's one of the things it looks like they're including is you can enjoy alongside friends and other players. So it looks like they're including like a co-op thing from the
Yeah.
description. Which, if that's true, that's essentially in many ways a game changer to what was previously a single player only game.
Yeah.
Well, there was PvP. You had to, because it was all essentially Game Boy. You had to get the cable, link it to the person.
Oh,
You
the
could fight
link
each other.
cable. God, I remember them. Mine
Yep, and
broke
that was
so many times.
I think I still have mine. But again, if you wanted to trade exclusives or get some of the stuff, you had to get somebody who's willing to trade theirs, and sometimes they only had the one,
Yeah.
which means now they have to restart their game if they want to get that thing for themselves, because there was no way to make copies and transfer the copy.
Yeah.
So hopefully with this, that can actually be done, because I did enjoy the Mega Man series.
Oh, that's completely fair.
So we'll see how well this works. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. Maybe I will, maybe I won't look into getting it. I don't know.
And now we move on to the final segment. Finally, what's upcoming? What's coming next in May? Apog, would you like to field this entire one, or would you like me to field it? Or would you like Redneck to?
I mean, I would say since we've gone late, like usual.
I mean,
We
just
could
listing
fast
off the
forward through some
games.
of it, just list off
We don't
what
need
they
to
are.
list. We don't need to give descriptions, but just cover the games. I think. You're muted.
Game and release date.
Oh, thank you. I apologize. I was say, yeah, I would say I can take over, give you break, give your voice a little break, and yeah, I was only going to list the names of the games and then when they're going to be released.
Go ahead, bro.
Go for it.
Sure. So we've got at the top of the list. We've got A Legend of Zelda, Tears, whatever of the Kingdom. Not a Legend of
Tears.
Zelda fan, so I don't know. Tears. Sorry,
Yeah. I
Zelda
think it's
hardcore
Tears.
fans.
I'll be honest
Tears
with
of-
you, just to cover on that, I've never played a Legend of Zelda game ever.
No, same. And that's coming out to just Nintendo Switch on May the 12th. And
This
we
is
got...
one
Smash
that
Brothers
I'm really
count?
looking forward to. This next one I'm really looking forward to playing, actually.
Oh, and this one that Costin wants to play is Redfall, which is coming out May the 1st to PC and Xbox Series XS. However you pronounce XS.
What we'll do is, if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll post a link to the trailers for all of the games that we're mentioning as well.
Yep. So if you want to read more about it or see any more about it, you get the opportunity to. Next one is one I'm sure that a lot of old school gamers will
Just one.
look forward
You didn't
to.
you didn't announce the date, I don't think.
I did.
It's coming on Monday.
I did. I said May the 1st. Yeah,
I
May the
didn't
1st.
hear.
Next one, again, a lot of people I'm sure will be happy for this one. Amnesia: The Bunker. Any old school horror fans, you remember Amnesia: Dark Descent? You got that one coming out. That is May 23rd. That is via PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series SX.
Most likely, you'll also be able
XS.
to play it on PS5 as well.
Most likely. You've got System Shock. And that's coming out on May the 30th. That's everything basically: PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S.
In case you don't know, System Shock is is basically a remake of the original from 1994. So if you've ever
And it
played the 1994 System Shock, you might be interested to play the remake.
and the
Ooh.
notes include that they're bringing back the original voice actor too.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that is true. It does say that, yeah. Next, we've got one that I'm very interested into, at least looking into. It seems like it could be a good one. Is Lord of the Rings Gollum. So, if you ever wanted to experience
Oh, yeah,
Lord of the
sure.
Rings via Gollum's perspective, you can play that on May the 25th via Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and
I'm
Xbox
sorry, I know we
Series
weren't
X
gonna
and S.
I know we weren't going to read the descriptions, but I just love the description that they've written for this. The Lord of the Rings Gollum is a story-driven action game. Embark on a perilous journey as Gollum chasing the only thing that is precious to you.
Yeah,
precious.
that line.
I love it.
That line
I
was
love
on
it.
point.
I mean, it's accurate.
It is.
And we got Darkest Dungeons 2, which I'm going to assume is a sequel to Darkest Dungeons 1.
Incorrect. It's actually Dungeon's Darkest that is the sequel to.
Oh, okay. I don't know that.
I'm kidding. I'm
don't know.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
It was a
I'd fully believe it. I don't know
I
that
was gonna say,
franchise.
it sounds like you're full of shit.
Probably he is. That's coming out on May the 8th, only via PC. So any console peasants, you can't
If
play
I
it.
remember correctly, Epic Games Store, if I recall.
Epic Game Store. We got Atlas Fallen, which is coming out May 16th via
This
PC.
is another one that I want to give a go as well.
Looks interesting just by the screenshot. That's coming out PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. This one I'm sure Costin is at least interested in. I know he likes his driving games. You got Lego
Believe it or not, I'm
2K
not,
Drive.
purely because it's a Lego game.
Oh, okay. Costin doesn't like Lego games. Fair enough. That's coming out May the 19th via Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. You got Ravenlock. I'm hoping that's pronounced correctly. Ravenlock.
Yeah, Ravenlock. It's the sequel to Ragnarok.
Wow, fuck you.
I'm sorry,
Right.
I had to make the joke.
That's coming out
I
May
was
the
gonna say someone
4th
said it.
via PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series XS. So if you're a PlayStation fan, sorry. But if you are a PlayStation fan, you've got Humanity coming out. That is on May the 16th. Oh, that's PC as well. And then you got PS4, PS5, and PlayStation VR/VR2. So, VR game. And then
I wonder if it's going to be VR on PC as well. Please tell me it is.
I would imagine so. If it's VR for PlayStation.
Just look at those graphics, though. Hold on. I'm going to put this up on the on the stream, right? What the actual fuck? It looks like PS1 type graphics there.
It does.
It's hilarious. Just from that thumbnail alone.
Yeah, it does look like it.
I'm sure it might be interesting. Graphics ain't everything, fam.
That's true.
And then we've got
take a look at Cyberpunk 2077 with all the bugs.
Exactly. Exactly. And then we've got the long-awaited Hogwarts Legacy for PS4 and Xbox One port finally coming out on May the 5th. So anyone that's been waiting / has pre-ordered, well, not pre-ordered, but has bought Hogwarts Legacy, you'll finally be able to play that on May the 5th. And that is all the announcements on this page for the games that are coming out in May.
I know a lot of people have been looking forward to getting Hogwarts Legacy on last-gen consoles, primarily because it's been one of those long-awaited games for years. Absolutely years. And do you know what I find hilarious?
Go ahead.
The fact that nobody's trying to shut down the port launch like they did with the original launch on PC, PS5, and Xbox
I think it's
Series.
because they gave up because they realized they were doing more harm for their side of wanting to cancel the game than they were promoting it.
That's what I mean. I absolutely love that no one's trying to shut this side down, and it's hilariously funny. But one final thing before we move on to the very, very final segment of the show. Are there any games that you're particularly looking forward to for the rest of 2023?
Not off the top of my head, but then again, I tend to not pay as much attention.
There's that one from Bethesda that I'm looking for. I can't remember what it's called. It's Sky something or other, I think.
Skynet?
No, no, no. I need to remember. It's not Sky. Bloody hell, Starfield. That was it. Because that got delayed.
Oh, I
It
remember
got
hearing
delayed.
about it, but I don't remember
It
the
was meant to
details.
release last October, and it never did. So it's now scheduled for September of this year release.
Yeah, I don't remember any details on it.
But yeah, Starfield looks interesting. It's a game that I definitely give a go. Also Elder Scrolls 6 as well. I can't wait. I'm hoping this year will be the year that they finally announce something for Elder Scrolls 6. Obviously, they announced, was it last year or the year before? I think it might have been the year
I
before.
mean, they've been teasing for
Oh,
stuff.
no, there we go. Official announcement trailer. 2018, they turned around and announced that Elder Scrolls 6 would be coming. I'm
Yeah,
just hoping
they've
this
said
year's the year
nothing
that they'll.
since.
I'm just hoping this year's the year that, because obviously they've got that Xbox announcement thing in June. So I'm hoping when they do that, maybe we'll see something for Elder Scrolls 6.
I don't know. There's
I have
no
a feeling
telling
they
with those
primarily
guys.
focus on Starfield, sorry.
Yeah, they've. It's been so long since they've teased that, and they just did a new release on what was it, Skyrim, not too long ago.
Yeah.
So there's no telling with that.
Yeah. What about Diablo 4? What are your thoughts on Diablo 4? That arrives in June.
I've actually never had an interest in the Diablo series.
That's completely fair. I'll be honest, I've never played a Diablo game, but Diablo 4 looks like it might actually I'm actually interested in playing Diablo 4.
I played a
my
little
first
bit
entrance.
of one of the Diablo games. I can't remember which one it is, and it was interesting. Not enough for me to like have an opinion to whether I'm excited for a new one, but it is by what I've played so far, it's interesting.
Diablo
I've never
4,
played
it
any of
looks interesting enough to make me want to be like, hey, yeah, I'll play it if it's free. Like if it's on Game Pass.
But technically, you're paying for Game Pass anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't bother me if it arrives on there. I'll try it. It's one of those games that I'll try. It's like Minecraft Legends. I'll try it, but I'll not necessarily play it all that much.
Or straight up buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my case on most of these of like. Well, it's also the thing of like I'm kind of content with a lot of the games I have, so I don't really look at the upcoming stuff. Like
Yeah.
I have more free games or games that I've acquired for free than I've ever played. Like I made a list the other day of like games I haven't completed, just single player, and it's like 80 games.
Oh geez. I think I've got way more than that in my library because I know I've got a shit ton over in my Steam library. I've got a load in my Epic Games library.
Yeah, so it's a thing of like
I'm not
I
even
have
gonna
all
say
this
how
stuff,
many
but
I
it's
have.
like
Yeah,
don't
but
know
to
what
be
to
fair,
do
most of
with it,
yours
like-
has come through from like Humble Bundle, so you've got like a load
Yeah.
of those shitty single player games that were made that you could literally run on a fucking Raspberry Pi.
I know. That's where most of them have come from. I know.
Like
But-
I've gotten free stuff from all over.
But here's an
But
interesting
I actually made a
interesting
list of them
question.
too.
So here's another interesting question for you guys as well. What game would you like to see a sequel of? It may not have had a sequel announced yet, but what game would you like to see come
This
as
I
a
have
sequel?
2.
Is one of them GTA 6? Because I know a lot of
No.
people really want that to hurry up.
No. 2 games that I think it would be cool with a sequel as long as it was done right, but has never been announced.
Okay.
One, OG's out there, Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yes.
That if that had a sequel, that's a really good game.
That was
And the
actually going to be my pick as well.
And the second one, I don't know if you may also agree with. I'm sure you've played it. Is Bully.
Yes, Bully. Oh my god. I actually started replaying it recently, and oh my god, I would love to see a new version of that. I think another one, seeing as Bully's made by Rockstar, I'd love to see a sequel to LA Noire.
Never played.
It's a detective game. It's actually quite interesting. Yeah, you should give it a go if you can get it. I think it's cheap on Steam at the minute, but yeah, but they did a VR version of it as well, which you can play, which is pretty cool. But it's actually quite an interesting game. I would love to see a sequel to it.
Interesting.
I'll be honest. I don't
Also, this
know
goes
most
to you
of
in
those.
chat as well. If you've got any games that you would like to see one, post it in chat.
I mean, I'll be honest. There is an older game that I wanted to see a sequel of because it left off at a freaking cliffhanger. And that was Star Wars Republic Commando.
Interesting.
It was an older Star Wars first-person shooter that actually was storyline, but it actually kind of left at a cliffhanger, and there's never been a sequel. Like, it's been over a decade, and there's been no sequel.
Hmm.
And it was just like, you have this cliffhanger here. Are you gonna give us is there an expansion? Is there a DLC? A second game? Nothing.
Jeez.
There's been nothing. Like, even in the Star Wars lore, they don't expand on what happened or give you an answer.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
sure
like
there's
it was just left hanging.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
there's a load more that we could do because it's like I'd love to see another Crash Bandicoot game.
I'm sure there's one that I know
not
internet
that
is screaming
driving one that they've bloody announced that they're doing again. But I would genuinely love to see an actual Crash Bandicoot game again, like a sequel,
A modern one.
Yeah, because obviously they brought Ratchet and Clank back, and they've obviously gone and done new Ratchet and Clank. Why not do Crash Bandicoot?
I don't know on that one. But yeah,
Anyone
no, Star Wars Republic Commando was a favorite game of mine, and there's never been a sequel. I would have loved also a actual Star Wars Battlefront 3, and then not doing what they did when EA made their version. It's like, no. You had a good game. You had good setup. Make a third one that's a little bit more modern, not EA's monetized bullshit version.
Anyone want to get
But
heated and mention Half-Life?
I mean, yeah, there has not been a second attempt. Like, they did
I was
Half-Life
just gonna
2,
let
and
it
there's
settle
nothing
for a
else.
moment because we really, really need a fucking third one. Like, give us Half-Life 3, please.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good games that was just like, it's been so long, but
like
there's
Portal.
never been a follow-up.
I would love to see a third Portal game.
That would also
I'd
be good.
absolutely love to see it, but but the thing is, I feel like they've teased it a little that we're getting a third one in the fact that they've released the NVIDIA worked with Valve to create the first Portal, but with RTX. And I think with that could be a teaser that we could be getting a Portal 3. And I will say this now, if I do not get Portal 3 in the next 10 years at the most, I'm going to fucking rage.
There's a lot of other things that'll make you rage, but
like, I'm not being funny. Half-Life, I can shove that to side. I don't give a shit at this point. I don't care if it comes or not. Like, if it comes, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. If it doesn't, it's always been in the talks that it might reappear, but never ever fucking surfaced. But with Portal, you can't just go so far as to release a version of the original game with an update that gives you RTX lighting and not be like, hey, we've got a version that's coming soon that's got a new storyline.
I mean, they easily could.
That's like them turning around and saying, that's like
remasters,
Rockstar
but
turning around and saying, hey, look, we're going to push out all this extra stuff of GTA because we know you've been waiting for a new GTA game. We're going to push all of these remakes on you and then just go, we've cancelled GTA 6, boys.
Well, that's
not coming.
It seems a lot of companies are doing. They're just doing remakes.
The thing is, the
They're
whole
not doing
remake thing is
actual games,
actually
they're doing
worth
remakes.
it because aside from the fact that a lot of these older games have got compatibility issues with the newer OSs and stuff like that, it would be nice to see them updated in the sense of they've got a bit better graphics or stuff like that. I mean,
mean,
look at the definitive edition of GTA. You know, the fact that they updated it so that the driving mechanics in that worked very similar to how it works in GTA 5 improved the gameplay in my experience. I played Vice City and I played the original on PC and it was absolutely horrendous. I hated driving Vice City on the original version on my PC. I bought the definitive edition, played Vice City on that. Absolutely loved the new way that the driving worked because it felt more like GTA nowadays than what it did before, where it was really. It wasn't very much arcadey driving. It was soft and spongy. And it was like you were trying to build. They were trying to build a simulator, and the suspension was just really spongy.
the suspension was wrong.
Like no word of a lie. That's how it felt like to play the old GTA games. But when they remastered them and they remade them, it just improved them. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that they removed a lot of the old stuff in it that is now deemed politically correct. Like in GTA San Andreas, there's a street that you drive down, and there used to be Russian flags all up along the side, like the old Confederate flags, because it was an area that Russians were living in. But they removed the Confederate flags, and they ended up going, "Hey, guess what? It's pride flags now."
The political correctness stuff, I've never liked the changes for that. It's like if you're making a movie set in a specific era, have it set in that era.
The thing is,
I
don't mind it if it's a new movie. It's when it affects the remake of something. So it's like if something originally had something, but then you take it away because it doesn't conform to newer societal standards.
It's not even if it's a remake. Like I was reading the other day about Pet Detective Ace Ventura. You know, like this was about people were going back to it or like showing their kids it and being like, this film is not okay. It's like, yeah, it made some jokes that were okay in its time, and that's when it was made, so it was fine. Like, yes, if that film was made today, a lot of the stuff it would have gotten in trouble for. But it's like if it's something that was made ages ago, and the jokes and the or the story or the images or whatever didn't get in trouble, then leave it alone, because the stuff that people are complaining about is how it's the movie is very transphobic and homophobic because of the if you don't know, one, how have you not watched it already? So I don't care if I'm spoiling it for you, but the whole the enemy, the bad guy turns out to be a guy pretending to be a girl, and when Ace first finds out that he made out with this woman who turned out to be a guy, there's a scene where he goes and like cries in the shower and thoroughly cleans himself, which is seen as homophobic because the whole like, oh, he kissed a guy and now he thinks it's disgusting, blah blah. And at the end of the film, when it's revealed to everybody, or the police force, and they all find out that she's a he, and they've all apparently made out with her, had sex with her or whatever, and they all start retching and spitting and throwing up as well, again being like, oh, it's disgusting to make out with a guy or whatever. It's like, well, back in that time it was just an okay joke to make. Like, I get it how it can seem offensive now, but
no. Your point was very, very clear just then. It was a joke.
Yeah.
And people start taking these things too seriously.
People can't take a joke anymore.
Yeah. But that's what. But I was saying that was my main point. It's just like, but it wasn't made in today's standards. Like the whole society, being more snowflakey. And it's like, I get it. The whole we're more accepting now, and some things seem a bit more offensive now that more people are coming out as trans or non-binary or whatever. But it's like, it was made in an era where it was okay to do that, so leave it as that.
Well, we can take the GTA thing with the Confederate flags and things like that. If they remade the game and it was like now or last year, I would understand them removing the Confederate flags due to the fact that there's a fucking war going on in Ukraine. But it was the fact that people were just
wait, hold up.
Need it.
You mean the Russian flag?
The Russo flag, the old Soviet flag.
Okay.
But
there's the Russian flag, there's the Soviet Union flag. In the U.S., the Confederate flag is a whole different thing.
Okay. I got my words crossed over a little.
I'm like,
okay,
wait. What flag are you talking about? Because you've used two different terms for two different flags.
But the point that I'm trying to make here is the fact that if they removed it because of a current situation that's developing, for example, with the Russian flags, the Soviet flags, whatever you want to call them, okay? If they removed them from the game because there was the Ukraine-Russian war going on, I would be okay with that because that is being sensitive to current international issues. But if you're just removing them because the snowflakes might not approve and you're doing a remake.
I mean, but that's the whole thing of like, if you're just, I'm sorry, in my opinion, games should be apolitical. It's a game. It's a form of entertainment. It's not supposed to reflect reality.
I know this is one of the
So
things
if they
when people...
take like things that are like a game can be made, released, and then 2 weeks after it's released, a war starts between two countries, and one of them is shown in the game. That doesn't mean you should go back and read and like, oh, these groups are now fighting. We have to remove this from the game. No.
If they
What
did,
they
though,
do
I
is what
wouldn't
they
be that
do.
upset.
Let the game be the game.
But if they did, I wouldn't be too upset because they're being sensitive to a current international crisis. That's completely fair. My issue is when they start removing stuff because it's, oh, the snowflakes might not like it. And it's like, what the fuck? But like you say, it's a game. We'll go back to
Yes.
Hogwarts Legacy. They turned around and went and said that the goblins and that were based off of Jews and things like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
And it's
they
like,
said orcs and drow in D&D were based off of black and Hispanic. It's like, what? No.
it's the fact that they turn around and say that the goblins in Harry Potter were based off of Jews, and it's like I'm sat here and I'm going, okay, whether that be the case or not, the goblins have been in games for years,
Yeah,
and they've
they
had a
have.
similar sort of heritage behind the creation of the idea of goblins. I was like, so you're canceling this game because the goblins are Jewish and there's anti-Semitism behavior happening there. But it's like, what about all the other games that do this?
Or, I mean, and I'll go back to the whole national flag thing because I think that is really, really dumb. Because there are games that feature flags or references to countries that were at the time or before that game came out were committing atrocities or committing international crimes or at war with each other, and nobody cared.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but we get a major conflict that involves Europe, suddenly everybody cares. But if it's in Asia or if it's in Africa or another continent, nobody cares. There's a double standard there that is why I hate the whole anti-Russian flag thing, because it's like, because it's Russia and a European country, it's a big deal and it matters. But if it happens in Africa, South America, or Asia, nobody cares.
Yeah. This is
The
the
way
thing
I
that
see
there's a
the way
double
I see the
standard there that I
flag
hate.
thing as well, it's like, again, just it's just like based on how I see it is like, well, one, was the game made when we had this war? Two, does the game timeline take place during the war? And then three, is it accurate to be like, oh, would those flags be there if there were actually Russian people living there? So is it trying to be realistic? If those all those three comply, then it's like, well, what's the issue with having the flags in the game just because we are currently at a disagreement, potential war with the country that the flag is associated with?
Because we gotta try and be woke for our fans.
It's
No,
like
that's
it's
such a
not
stupid thing.
going to change the aspect of how it's going to turn out. Like, it's not going, if they keep the flags in, it's like, oh, suddenly our kids that are playing this game are gonna see the Russian flag and then suddenly be
I'm
on
gonna
their
go play
side.
GTA San Andreas. All hail the Russians.
Exactly. Or it's like, oh, if they remove the flag, then that's suddenly going to be like, oh, we're going to win this war now because there's
I'm being funny.
it's not gonna do
GTA 4
anything.
you play as a Russian guy in GTA 4. And it's I'm
I
not
guess that game
seeing
has to be
fucking
cancelled.
I'm not seeing kids
Yeah, it must be
going
canceled.
around fucking dressing up as Nico and going, I'm Russian, death to all prostitutes. I'm not going around and seeing kids doing that. I was never doing that when I was a kid. I played a game. I enjoyed playing the game. Why the fuck does it have to be an issue nowadays?
Because nowadays everybody
Snowflakes.
must be super sensitive about everything.
Yeah.
You're required to
Redneck,
be
you
a
can
snowflake.
just use the word snowflake, you know.
That's what I said. Everybody is now a snowflake, except for those of us who are older and
The thing
don't
is,
give a
they
fuck
turn
about it.
around and say millennials and Gen Z are the issue, and it's like technically, me and Jordan, we were born not early enough to be a millennial, but classified as Gen Z. But even then,
we're Gen
me
Z,
and Jordan, we
technically.
still classify ourselves as millennials because of the way
Yeah.
that we were brought up.
Yeah.
But it's like they're turning around and saying that Gen Zers and millennials are the issue, and it's like, okay, first off, the main issue is young Gen Zers. I was like, they're the snowflakes. I was like, you look at most millennials, you'll actually find that most millennials are tolerable to a lot of the bullshit that is happening. If someone makes a gay joke to me, I
no.
don't give a shit.
I will state this: younger millennials are wholly in that category of their fuckhead snowflakes. Older millennials, not so much. But you will, and I do have to agree with this, you will find a lot
But this
of
is what I'm saying about.
millennials and Gen Z that are on that side. But there's also a lot that are not. And I
This is
am a
what I'm
millennial.
saying. A lot of people are turning around and just saying, "Oh, it's the millennials and it's the Gen Zers," but it's not.
I mean, the millennials aren't helping. Neither are the Gen Zers. They're
The
either
main
saying nothing or they're
issue there is
agreeing with
that
it.
the main issue is you just see a lot more of the Gen Zers on TV. You see a lot more of the Gen Zers throwing paint and stuff like that. You're not seeing as much of it from the millennial side. And the other thing that gets me as well is protests like this have been happening for years. It's because of media that they're being shown a lot more on TV, that they're becoming a lot more, I
Well,
wouldn't
that's
say
because hate
widespread, but they're
sells.
becoming
Anger
way more
sells.
known.
The angrier a thing is, the more anger and rage inducing it is, the more it will sell, so the more they share it.
Yeah.
They only share negative. Positive or happy things don't sell. So they don't do it.
Anyway, I think
Moving
it's
on.
about time we need to end because we're nearly at the 3-hour mark.
Yep.
Yeah,
this
and
was
I have
supposed to be a shorter
another
one.
stream I'm supposed to be doing 15 minutes ago.
But anyway,
Only 15
there
minutes
is
ago?
only one tiny thing we've got to do before we end the stream, and that is our sponsor, not sponsor. Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
That thing.
I guess I'll start it off because I'm usually last. So I guess I'll start it off. And
Set your camera
my
back on.
sponsor, not sponsor. I'm not putting my camera back on because I haven't got the pasties on. Okay, fuck you.
Well, how am I supposed to see your sponsor, not sponsor?
But my sponsor, not sponsor, I can verbally say it, is Bingo Blitz. It's a great game where you can play bingo on your phone. That's it. That's my sponsor.
You're an old granny.
Hey, no, to be fair, it's actually really interesting. I've been doing really well on it recently. It's a nice, relaxing game to play at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when you just laid in bed and it's just like, I can't be fucked to do anything else.
That's called
Okay.
sleeping.
Redneck,
Okay.
you're usually
Reading.
second, so APOC, you can go second this time. What's your sponsor, not sponsor, baby?
My
Sorry.
sponsor,
What's your sponsor, not sponsor?
My sponsor, not sponsor, as mentioned earlier, is Merge Dragons.
Have you got your hearts yet?
Yeah, they're forming. Look, you can see my little hearts there.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
collecting them, I'm slowly getting it. Like I said, I've got half of the butterfly that's been healed. I just got the other half, and I've got to do that in. I don't know if it's going to focus enough. Oh, there you go.
One day,
in
20
one-
hours.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fun little relaxing game where you just come in and you just merge some items, merge some dragons.
See
and
Redneck just looking for something to think of
collect
right now.
and just build
Well,
up
if
your base.
we're gonna go with a mobile game, we'll go with probably the one true mobile game I've ever really played.
Okay.
And that would be Conflict of Nations World War III, which is basically you have either a continent or the whole world. You start as a country, and you can have to either fight against other players to essentially conquer the world, or form an alliance and then conquer the world.
Either or, you conquer the world.
Yeah, either way, your objective is to conquer the world. If you don't conquer the world, then at least survive till the end.
Right. Nice. That's actually really good. But we're going to have to call it now. Just like to thank everybody who's been watching us live on Twitch. Next month, We will be live on kick.com as well as Twitch. So check out our socials. We're on Twitter, Nerds Discuss. You can also check out our website, nerdsdiscuss.com. And I'm sure we'll one day open up the Discord for anybody. We'll have a discussion about that in the future. And we'll let you know just when we'll do it. But yeah, check us out. We'll let you know when the account's made and whatnot. But hopefully next month we'll be over on kick.com as well for the live thing. Check us out on YouTube at Nerds Discuss. You can just visit us, search for us, whatever. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, anywhere that you can basically listen to a podcast pretty much. Just again, search Nerds Discuss. You'll find us by using the logo. And if you haven't already, please be sure to drop a follow on myself, Redneck, APOC, and the Nerds Discuss channel as well on Twitch. But for now, thank you very much for joining us. I've been DJ Costin.
I'm Redneck Alcatraz.
And I'm Apocalyptic.
And we will see you again on the last Saturday of May. See you later.